And thank you very much for staying with us. This is your election headquarters. And as you know, we continue a coverage of the Ejisu by-election. Now, there's only one thing on the table. We're waiting for the final results coming from the constituency. As you know, election headquarters is always brought to you by the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty. It's also brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity, and SEMA also brings you the election headquarters. And PMXS is also always brought to you by Syntex Tank, also brought to you by Alomo Bitters and Pepsodent. Every smile matters, and I recommend always to you to use Syntex Tank and also to brush your teeth before you go to bed tonight with Pepsodent. I want to go to the Collation Center in Ejisu tonight and bring in Nana Jima because we are waiting for the declaration. Nana, are we close to knowing the final certified result for the entire constituency? Where are we from the 204 polling centers?
So Evans, gradually we are getting there. So far we have results of 138 polling stations in. The EC have worked on them, and these are the certified polling station results that have so far come in here at the Ejisu constituency. So it's going to be a long day for all of us here, the media and also officials of the EC. As you can see, they are still in their position trying to go through the results that they've received from the polling stations. If I should run our viewers through what we have here now, 138, as I said, out of the 204 polling station results have trickled in here at the Collation Center. And so far, the MPP candidate, Kwabena Boateng, is still in lead with 56.7%, and Kwabena Osu Ediomi is his closest contender with 42.4% of the ballot cast. The others, if you put together the results of the others, I'm not sure that they would exceed 1% of the votes cast so far. As you can see, the EC official continue to input new figures into the data that they have here. As I said, the party agents are all here. Now, the constituency chairman of the NPP has joined the team on the ground. The NPP has people on the ground. The independent candidate also has his people on the ground, led by Mr. Hobson Adoye, who has the results of his side, and he's comparing these results with what the EC is bringing in there. And now, Nana Bachiyadom, who is my colleague here, has been through town, and he has a report on what is happening out there within the Ejisu township itself.
So Nana, it's all a jubilation outside there on the streets of Ejisu. So much jubilation, especially from the supporters of the NPP's candidates, lawyer Kwabena Boateng. We did visit the Ejisu party office where some supporters were there. They were jubilating. For them, the provisional results they have shows that their candidate, lawyer Kwabena Boateng, is ahead of his main contender in this by-election, that is Kwabena Owusu Edudum. So they have every right whatsoever to begin jubilation. And so on the streets of Ejisu, massive crowd out there chanting the name of lawyer Kwabena Boateng. And you know the dance already. Lawyer goes, lawyer come. That's the chant out there on the streets of Ejisu. As so many supporters of lawyer Kwabena Boateng gather around the party office to celebrate what they call victory ahead of the main declaration.
Did you spot Kwabena Boateng himself? Because since we came into the Collation Center, he's yet to make an appearance. Mr. Osu Ediomi is also yet to make an appearance. The only person we've cited so far is the man they call Elder Fredia Ajaman Joseph, who is an independent candidate in the election. So far, he's been able to make 0.4% of the certified results. He's the only candidate that we've spotted here. Did you find lawyer out there when his fans were jubilating?
No, I did not see lawyer Kwabena Boateng out there. We did see the party executives, constituency executives, who were leading the chant, lawyer goes, lawyer comes. For some of them, lawyer Kwabena Boateng is expected to be here at the coalition center in no time for the EC to actually declare him as the winner of the Ejisu by-election. But the provisional results clearly indicates that lawyer Kwabena Boateng is indeed ahead of his main opponent. And so for the executives here in the Ejisu constituency, they're expecting lawyer Kwabena Boateng to be here for the EC to declare him as the winner of the by-election. And that's when we can clearly have lawyer Kwabena Boateng inside the Ejisu constituency.
All right. Thank you very much. So this is the coalition room here within the Ejisu constituency. My senior colleague, Ohime Interior, has also been through the principal streets of Ejisu. Mr. Ohime, I understand that you have information from the camp of the New Patriotic Party. What is it?
Yes, lawyer Kwabena Boateng, as at the time that the results were being collated from one of the polling stations at the Ejisu Sectec polling station A, he witnessed the counting of the ballots, and I spoke to him. And at that particular point, the margin was he polled 122 votes as against 77 from the independent candidate, engineer Kwabena Boateng. And Kwabena Boateng was not happy because he expected a bigger margin between him and the former MP. But later he considered that even if he is given the opportunity to lead the independent candidate by 3 votes, he will be happy because he believes that the former MP has marketed himself in the constituency very well. He has footprints almost everywhere in the constituency. But for him as a candidate, he was expecting a bigger margin compared to what we are witnessing at this moment.
The results that were counted in the polling station.
Yes, and generally, he said that he expects a bigger margin, but later considered that even if he beats the independent candidate by 3 votes, he will accept it. So for me, looking at the margin between him and the former MP is not something that he's so much enthused with. He wanted to see a bigger margin than what we are seeing.
But all is not over yet. So far, 146 out of the 204 polling station results have come in. And as at now, the NPP candidate, Kwabena Boateng, is still in lead, 56.8% of votes. Now, that's of the independent candidate, that is Kwabena Boateng. His percentage have dropped to 42.2%. It looks like what he was expecting is gradually playing out.
I'm not too sure because the EC officials are collating the results. As and when more results drop in, there's a possibility because it's like cancellation. The more the first candidate gets, and once the other candidates get more numbers, it comes to cancel it. And so definitely the figures are coming down. If you realize, when it was around 130 polling stations, the NPP's candidates was leading by 58%. Now his percentage margin has to drop from 58 to 56. So what it means is that once the EC continue to add more figures, the percentage numbers will come down. So I'm not too sure that the NPP's parliamentary candidate, Kwabena Boateng, will be able to garner the bigger margin he expected. That is not likely to happen here.
So let's leave that to the results that will be trickling in from the polling stations within Ejisu. If we get more results, we know or we are certain that the percentages may change. We have one of the independent candidates in this election, Mr. Fredua Ajaman, with me here. And Mr. Ajaman, so far you've been here supervising whatever has been happening here. What are your opinions on what we've seen so far?
Thank you very much. I think I'm okay with everything that's going on.
so far I can see that you've been able to make 0.4% of the ballots that have been certified. Does this meet your expectation?
Well, I can say I'm appreciative because using 21 days for this race and come, maybe I say third place, thank be to God.
Have you considered defeat yet?
Oh yes, okay, right? You see, like we are saying, someone is 60-something%, and I think, yeah, I'm number 3, third position.
Thank you very much. So, Elder Freddie Ajaman, he was one of the 3 independent candidates in this race, and from what he is saying, he has conceded defeat. He's now claiming the 3rd position on the spot, but the most important position, as we all know, is the 1st. If you are able to emerge as winner of the election, it means that you become the member of parliament for the Ejisu constituency. So Evans, we will continue to stay here. 150 out of the 204 polling stations results have so far come in, and Kwabena Boateng now holds 56.6% against Kwabena Osu-Ediomi's 42.5%.
So that there is the very latest from Ejisu, 56% as against 42% for Kwabena Osu-Ediomi in the by-elections there. And we're just waiting now. Is that 51? This is updating as you see on your screens there. And we'll keep following this closely as it unfolds. 42% for Ediomi, 56% for Kwabena Boateng of the MPP there. And so this is what is playing out in that constituency, and we're watching it closely. Once the results are done, we'll wait to hear the results. We wait to hear the reactions from both camps. And one of the things that we're also waiting to hear is what the Ediomi's team will be telling us in reaction to the controversy that we've seen in one of the polling centers, which is the subject of EC investigations and police investigations possibly too. I have with me Dr. Asa Asante. He's a senior political science lecturer. He's joining us via Zoom right now. He's watching all this unfold with us. He was with me yesterday when we were analyzing this, looking ahead to today. Now the results are almost in, and he's seen this. Asa, Prof, talk to me. You've seen the results now. Does anything surprise you from what we've seen so far, where we are with the 151 certified coalition polling center results?
Oh, thank you, Evans, for the opportunity. I think nothing surprises me because first, you are talking about MPP stronghold, which is Asante region. All the 47 constituencies, NPP is very strong in most of them, and Ejisu is packed. So if there is a by-election, and the person were lost, and out of which we had a by-election, is from the party. Obviously, you realize that the party is going to put a strong showing, and that is what is manifesting now. Yes, for Ediomi, what you are seeing also is a function of the work that he has done in the constituency and the fact that he has been a 3-time MP there. So is a force to reckon with, and that is also playing out. But at the end of the day, if you recall yesterday, I did say that for a constituency such as this, there is always the dominant party model, which says that the party that is in power, or the party whose constituency is what we are talking about, is a stronghold. Always people vote en bloc, and then they vote massively to maintain their leader. It doesn't matter the message or whatever. But for Ediomi, he belongs to that school of thought. They believe in what the rational choice model, who is competing, what are some of the policies he has done, for which reason there's a need for us to give vote to that person and all that. If the party is firmly on the ground, which MPP is, at the end of the day, you realize that the party will throw the independent candidates away. But we have seen at least 2 fresh examples in our mind, and that always serves as a guide when we are looking at analysis if you look at the issue of Kwabena and that of Bekwai. So that gave, Aduomi some sort of hope, and also against the backdrop that NDC did not contest and that a chunk of their voters are also rooting for him. And then even in the course of the voting, we realized that even the butterfly movement and their coalition is also gravitating towards that party. So it's an interesting dynamic that is going on. But at the end of the day, the dominant party model is, defeating the rational choice, and it's gradually emerging that the MPP will carry the day. Yes,
but what about the gap, though, between Aduomi's number of votes and that of Kwabena Boateng? As it stands now, it's 56 as against 42. And we're waiting to see what the remainder of the polling centers will do to that number. But if that's how it ends, how much are you reading to that?
Yeah, if the score is to be maintained, then it gives you an indication that the MPP need to put in a lot, because then it tells you that if Aduomi is to go and campaign heavy, or he should contest as an independent candidate for the December election, is going to cause a stir there. Remember that NDC last election, even though emerged second, they pulled some substantial amount of vote, about 14,000 plus vote there. So yes, they have some numbers there. Remember, NDC is not interested in winning if the opportunity avails itself, but it can be so. All that they are interested in is to have more votes there, so as to shore up their numbers to get the 30% and beyond. And you and I know that once NDC is able to clock about 30% from Ashanti region, then all things being equal, they are going to carry the day. So all those bits and pieces, if they're able to put together, is going to help them. So a result like this, if it stays, it tells you that the MPP need to do more. It means that there is a salvo being fired at their background, and then they needed to work it out the more. It also sent a message to the NDC that, hey, we can also come in and then also see whether we can show up our votes and all that. So it changes the dynamics straight away.
Yeah, and of course, by the close of the poll tonight, when the declaration is done, the expectation where we are now is that the MPP will win this. Now, if you are Aduomi, you're obviously in this race. Will you be standing again in December, on December 7th? In that particular race, you expect that the MPP, the NDC will be in a race too, because they have a candidate, right, on the ground there. That dynamic will change. And many suggest that that will only play again in the favor of the MPP, because the NDC guys will vote for the NDC candidate. In this particular race, chances are many of them were voting for Aduomi, right? So Aduomi will definitely get some votes from the MPP, but NDC will also take the votes. In the end, MPP still emerges victorious. How do you see this playing out on December 7th?
Yes, there is a sense in what you are saying. But you see, if you have this situation maintained, that you maintain the status quo, then Aduomi goes as an independent candidate. Obviously, where is he going to pull the vote from? Obviously, he's going to take some numbers from the NPP, maybe very little from the NDC, right? But remember that the dwindling of MPP votes is the trouble that the NPP doesn't want. Every vote counts if you really want to make impression in every part of this country. For Ashanti region, which is your strongest, constituency, you need to put up splendid performance, go beyond about 70% threshold. Then you are making progress. So they will not want Aduomi to contest again if that is possible, because the vote that Aduomi will obviously pull out of the MPP support base, and that will not inure well for the strength of the party come this year December elections. So it's something dicey for them, and NDC will also be very much happy if they should see Ediome coming back as an independent candidate, then it means that, look, they also can put in a very strong showing if they are able to work in such a way that they increase their margins there. And Ediome is to contest and also take some of the votes is going to also affect the total number of votes that the NPP is supposed to receive from that area. So all in all, it promises to be interesting, provided Ediome will contest again. If he will not, then obviously the seats will fall back to the NPP. And
give me a comment on the incident that we've been reporting all day. Now that the police have been brought into the frame, the EC has investigated it. This video that I'm pretty sure you've seen of the Kingsley Nyako. What should happen now? Now the polls are over. We are yet to hear from Ediome how he intends to approach this. If anything, with what we hear from his campaign team is anything to go by, he seemed to suggest, well, look, this is something that has happened. We said it's going to happen. It's happened. And we, in essence, can't do anything much about it. But it has implications for the integrity of the poll, does it not? And how should this be handled going forward?
Yes, it's unfortunate that this incident happened. Unfortunate in the sense that, look, this is MPP stronghold, and you are a member of the party. So there shouldn't be any attempt at even doing something of the sort if you really want to support them by providing food or whatever. Because you have been in this business for years, you know that these things are not allowed. The Electoral Commission has been voted with money to run its own program, and so is the political parties. They also have their budget, they run with that. If you want to provide something for them, you make it open to everybody. But even that one, we don't want to welcome that because it creates an avenue for all manner of manipulation to take place. So for you to pull it out of your pocket, even if it is not meant to influence anybody, the fact that an envelope, flies in the face of what the whole table, and that is where the action was, it raises an eyebrow, and that creates a problem for a contest such as this. Let us remember that in election, the slightest problem that you have send shivers down the spine of people, and then you make them believe that, look, all is not well and all that. And that can affect what the quality of the election. Imagine this happened to be the national election. I'm sure the story would have been different because you have players such as the NDC. The stakes will be more high than what we are seeing now, and that will create all manner of problems. I believe that going forward, what we have to do, because it gives us food for thought, that there should be reforms, and that reform should include the do's and don'ts relative to some of these incidents. Because if you put your ears on the ground, we have some of these things coming up once a while. Sometimes you see, big political actors coming around, and they are giving access to into certain areas, which is where the core business of the election is taking place. Should we countenance that? We have chiefs also. Sometimes I am told that some of the chiefs can tell you that, yes, come to the palace and come and, give us opportunity to vote and all that. But more often than not, the people resist. And then they will tell you that, please, Nana, calm down. And then we can allow you to, do your voting and then go away. Sometimes you have also these political actors, chiefs and opinion leaders coming. And obviously everybody says that, yeah, let them vote first and all that. All these things, we have to take a critical look at that and then make sure that we don't create, or we create an enabling environment where everybody will feel comfortable and compete, so that when you lose, you accept defeat and abide by the rules of the game.
Thank you very much. That is Dr. Sasante. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Political Science Department. And as we wait for the results, and I've seen a post, and I agree with that this is the by-election from one constituency. We are 15 minutes to 10, and we still don't know the outcome. They haven't declared the results yet.
It's taking too long.
It's taking absolutely too long. I mean, the results should have been even. This is just one constituency. So again, multiply this by 275 constituencies across the country on December 7th.
I'm interested in knowing something. How many exact polling stations
or polling booths were deployed to the constituency. Because when you have numbers, and the Electoral Commission established a system where it was possible to not have, I remember after the 2012 election, not have 100 and more people, no, 1,000 people at a particular polling booth. So a station can have, let's say, Legon or Main, 1, 2, 3, or ABC. So Legon Hall Main ABC would mean that even though there are 1,500 people in the register at the center, they are divided into 3 groups so that it will be easy for Group A to have 400, Group B to have 400, and the other groups also have 400. What then happens? People will vote quickly. The ballot can be counted easily because 400 is easier to count than 600 or 800. Then the transmission can be done quickly. I'm interested in knowing because we know that there are 204 polling stations. What we do not know is how many polling booths and polling centers are within these 204, which would have helped us understand whether the EC was deploying a more effective system on the ground or something fundamentally is wrong with the collation and or the counting process or something is holding the election results back. If the political parties, or if the NPP says that they had a chunk or close to about 180 of the polling stations 2 hours ago, one would have suspected that then it is no longer the collation process at the polling station that's a problem. It may be the transmission and the collation at the main center that could be the problem. Because
they have to physically move the the ballot boxes.
I remember some time ago, what they were doing is that when you finish the election, you have your there's a pin sheet, right? Like they have the long sheet. That sheet is what they post at the polling center as the results of the election. You have that with you. You're going to do all the verification at your collation center. So the policeman is in the same vehicle as a vehicle. Sometimes even the party agents say,
they follow, Yeah,
they want to follow a team to see the outcome. So they all go, you go to the center, they all go and do the accounting there again. It doesn't end at the polling station. I don't know whether that's what they deployed here, which sometimes comes with some small arguments. I don't think it should be 205, it's 206. We've not heard that anybody has asked for a recount in any area. I hope you get the point.
Not even at the polling center.
Yes, we've not heard anything like that. So it is either fundamentally there was a difficulty at the number of polling stations they made available, or it is the collation process that's taking a little bit longer than expected. But I think EC2 has deployed its finest people there.
Yeah.
You see the civil officials who understand the election process properly.
And Civil Kwaku himself is supervising the process.
I am not sure if it is fair to compare to Ascent North and whether or not the timing for delivery of election results is at the same
around
pace.
the same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure whether that will give us an idea of whether...
But you see, by now, and also because it's just the NPP and an independent candidate contesting. But watch this. This is an election with a voter turnout of about 50% or less. So even Raymond, I mean, if we're even to go by, the EC say, let's not have polling centers that are more than 500 or 600. This one, because it's the voter turnout is low, you don't even have a problem.
Yeah.
And if the NPP student is anything to go by, Evans, if what Nanabi said, Henry Nanabuache said is anything to go by, if that is true, they actually knew before 7 p.m. what the results were.
Yeah.
So what happened to the transmission process? What is it that is keeping it so long at the coalition center? I don't know, because so far we have not been told that they've been challenging results at the coalition center. So if they're not challenging results at the coalition center, then what's the problem? Because I think that this election, the declaration it's taking a bit of time. It's some few minutes to 10. But of course now, it's 155 the last time we checked, and it looks like it's giving us an idea. So, it moves
to 49 or 50 left.
Yeah, 49 or 50 left, so 49 left. But you see, it was at 56.7, moved to 56.8, then moved to 56.6. It would do that. I am not sure that Kwabena Boateng will get to less than 50%. And so, yes, it's delayed, and it's something that the Electoral Commission should check, because even during the main election of 2020, there's a lot of constituencies where yes, you were counting, the results weren't out yet, but the political party started having an idea.
Of course.
By
of course,
midnight,
by
the
now.
Electoral Commission was declaring some of their constituencies.
Yeah, and so that's where we are now with this. We're still trying to get my colleague Nanaya Ojima there, so we can get a sense from Ejisu himself about his own plans going forward regarding this issue that we've been reporting tonight. And there's only one thing we're waiting for right now, with just some 7 minutes to the top of the hour, 10, is to get you the results. But from every indication, the MPP candidate there should win this. We're still waiting for the Electoral Commission to certify those results so we can know that outcome. Now, let's do a bit of looking at what has happened today. We started today with the real possibility that the MPP were going to face a tough battle on their hands. But we've seen this, the gap between Kwabena Diomi and the Kwabena Boateng of the MPP. Now, as it stands now, assuming it ends at 42% to Diomi and 56% to the MPP candidate, it still isn't a picture you want to see in a constituency that is dominant for the MPP. Also because you have the main elections on December 7th still to come. Ejisu still have more time to campaign there. But then it also gives opportunity to the MPP, now that they know what they are up against, to do far more in their constituency, because they have, more than 6 months to try and do a bit more developmental projects there, right? To try and get the people to appreciate that the government will want to respond to whatever needs they have. But the time that they have now, NDC also in the mix on December 7th, who gains from this? The MPP, because remember, there's also the NDC in the race. Ejisu, the NDC or the MPP. We've said all the time that for MPP to win the national elections, they need Ashanti region to turn out in force for them. Yeah. In other words, every single vote will matter in the Ashanti region, including in the Ejisu. This particular turnout, this particular gap, which isn't dominant, but it's a very safe, clear victory for the MPP. Who benefits more?
Well, this is an election that benefits Kwabena Boateng. Now, when we started, I indicated that to test his popularity, we'd have to wait for the results of this election. Now, I said that we had to wait for the results of this election because in the past he had contested on the ticket of the NPP. And even though we may argue that, but he gave the NPP its, biggest margin, the thing is that so far from what we're gathering, the NDC in the last election had about 14,000. He's crossed that mark. He's had more than 14,000. Now, clearly that tells you, if you have more than 14,000 votes in a by-election, this is not a national election, with a voter turnout of about less than 40%, less than 50,000, 50% so far. It tells you that this is a formidable candidate. So even if we want to do the analysis, okay, so let's do the analysis and say, for instance, that, okay, the NDC, because the NDC didn't contest this election, per the voter turnout, we see that 40% of the NDC turn out to vote for Ejisu. Let's just, for purposes of analysis. So if 40% of 14,000 turn out, that's about between 5,000 to 6,000. Okay?
Yeah.
Now he's gotten more than 17,000. It means that on his own, he can pull about 10,000 to 15,000 voters.
Yeah.
That is significant. Now, if the NDC comes into it and they maintain their 14,000 and he gets more votes, this is what you're going to see. You would see a situation where the NPP, and now the NPP would not have the luxury of sending graders and everything to the constituency, to be doing a lot of work overnight. So if Ejisu decides to contest as an independent candidate again, he could worry the MPP. But that would also depend on what he says and does from now to December 7. Because this is a period, and you see, you saw it in the Kumewu elections, where the independent candidate put a lot of votes, but in the by-election, he performed woefully.
Yeah.
Because at the time, there were problems in the constituency. And so he rode on those challenges and actually put up a showing. What is Kwabena Boateng going to do now? Raymond was making the point earlier that he probably would take this and say, oh, they cheated us. And look, once results are delaying, once he starts talking about, who knows what may have happened, don't be surprised when you hear his people probably saying that, oh, some of the results were even, they suspect there were changes here and there, what. It would all be at making sure that at the end of it all, he stays in the minds of the people, but also continuously reminds them of the fact that he has been unfairly treated and that they should show the NPP that he really is the person they want by election 2024, which is also not going to be easy for Kwabena Boateng also. Because look, today, all the attention is on Ejisu. So you can also do what? Talk more about the fact that, hear me say, we are doing this, we're doing that, because everybody would come to you. But in the main election, you, Kwabena Boateng, would not be the focus of that election, because other elections will also be happening in other constituencies. All of us will move to other constituencies. While you may focus in Ejisu, you would not get the needed coverage that would also make you popular and also popularize your message. So all of these things will come to play a role.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, definitely sitting here planning the elections, we're going to be focusing on Ashanti region.
We will most definitely.
But because we're focused on the Ashanti region, but because of the Diomi's factor, and because of this primary, we'll focus a bit more on Ejisu, definitely.
Yes, sure.
Right? Going into this, we'll focus a bit more on the elections. Now, you have a situation where he now, again, and the Fanfanto factor is also there, right?
Yeah.
We haven't even played that, throw that into the mix. Considering, and his aide explained to us that this Hopes in Adoye alliance with him, I mean, not with the party, was just that they needed help. Right, and they got Raymond. You don't buy it.
No, not for a second.
So what do you think was happening?
Oh, no. I think, see, we all do know that there was even a time that some had flirted with the idea of Chairman Ten appearing in Ejisu and throwing his weight behind and making sure that the man pushed through.
Let me update the results now. We have 169 out now, 169 centers out now, out of the 200, and out of the 204. And out of that, Kwabena Boateng has 56.4%. Kwabena Boateng still at 42.6%. Proceed.
Now, I'm saying that there were attempts, there were even thoughts that Chairman should be on the ground to throw his weight behind him. And let's not get it wrong. The Alliance for Revolutionary Change is actually looking for people who are going independent to support. Yeah. Their theory is quite clear that we should get rid of the duopoly, NPP and NDC. So any opportunity that offers anybody an opportunity, and the person is a formidable candidate like a three-time former member of parliament.
They were alignment.
Why not? But so I'm not one who's going to say that Adoye was sitting in Accra, then somebody sent me a text.
So you're saying that this Adoye deployment would have been done with the blessing of Alan Chamanting himself?
With the national, the movement for change, very much aware that, and again, we know where Hopsin fits in. It's where you need...
you need a bit of toughness, a bit of roughness in there.
Hopsin also knows the NPP politics. So he will know where they are likely to have some loopholes and all of that. So he's not just being deployed for deployment's sake. He will not wake up and just go there because he wants to monitor elections as an independent observer. Again, I am insisting that it is not a very poor strategy to look out for people who are equally disgruntled with the system and say, let's pool our resources together. It is what Chairman and Go went around in doing when they announced the 9 or 12 groups that supported the movement for change. It is because these people are equally disgruntled about politics, so they need them on board. Kwabena Boateng obviously has had problems with the NPP since he was removed as member of parliament. You could check, as of 2022, he was still doing the general things. You remember he went around before that election with Chairman Wontumi. He went around. There's a statement out there. In fact, there's a speech that he did. It was in the graphic. He was quite clear about why the MPP may have difficulties. I'm reading to you the headline. fix roads in Ashanti or forget about breaking the 8. And the story says the former Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways has said the NPP cannot count on the Ashanti region to break the 8 if the roads in the region remain unfixed. He explained that the situation was irrespective of whoever the party elected as its flag bearer. Have you seen the timing we are talking about?
Yeah.
So right before that time, he was clear in his mind that something had to change. And I will not lie to you, I know MPP members today who are equally of the same view, that it can't be business as usual. Some do not want Mahmoud Bawumia as their leader. Others do not want the kind of politics we are doing in the country. Others are just not happy how they were treated under Akufo-Addo. All of these are forces you can put together. And if all of these forces come together and take away 5 to 10% of the Ashanti region votes, I was checking the data the other time, the election results, the NPP minus NDC, Ashanti region gave the NPP more than 1 million more votes than the NDC. That is massive. That is massive. That can make a lot of change in an election. Imagine having an area where you beat your opponent by 1 million more votes. You get the point? So that is massive. That's why Ashanti would always be an area that you want to concentrate on. But why not? If the movement of change makes its biggest impression in the Ashanti region today, do you know what it has done to the NPP?
What?
It has attacked the NPP at its biggest and strongest hold. What then will happen to the other areas? It will either go into a second round in an election, or the NPP may lose the election. Mindful of all the other factors that comes together against it, if Kwabena Boateng is able to make sure that the NPP goes into opposition, and the powers that be are no longer as powerful in the party, and then can come to the table and discuss the most important things of NPP going into the future, how to forge and build a better box for the future, do you think that he will not be happy with it? So as for marriage of convenience, it might be. In fact, they say it's not marriage of convenience, it's marriage of conviction. And that's what's happening now. But it will happen because people are disgruntled and have to join a force in moving forward.
Okay, so it's moving forward. On December 7, now constituents have confirmation that he's aligning with Alan and his team. Do they punish him for it or reward him for it?
It depends on how he plays his games from now to that time. Do you know two things will happen? For most of the people in the constituency like Ejisu, they don't really care whether he is aligned with Alan Oko. They want to know what Ejisu did and what he can do differently going into the future and how that helps them. Assuming the NPP doesn't get to win the election 2024, of what use is having an NPP MP anyway? As the president and the Minister of Roads have been hinting. The president says that I will not be, looking to a guy who's not in my party. Minister of Roads says that it will be difficult to convince anybody in government when the president is not a member of parliament. If you put them together, it means that the people of Ejisu may very well be better served by an independent candidate or independent MP than being served by a member of a parliament from a party that's lost the election. That is if the NPP ends up losing the election. Have you seen the dynamics in here? Yeah. So some people will come to that conclusion. Others too will just say we are sticking with our political party MPP no matter what happens. And again, voting Aduomi doesn't make you less MPP. You know that, right? They may even vote massively for the presidential
Aduomi is MPP true and true.
Yes, it doesn't make them less MPP.
And chances are, if he ever gets to parliament through this route of being an independent, he will align in safe with the MPP.
He will certainly have a deal on the table. Yeah. As was shown in the case of Kwabena. Indeed, if we were given the MPP the opportunity to choose second deputy speaker, the Kwabena MP would have never been on the consideration table. You get what I'm trying to say?
Of course.
Merely by going independent and winning, it elevated his right to engage and also, to debate and to get away with a very juicy position. Who would not want a deputy speaker position for their member of parliament?
But it will. And I'll come to you for a bite to that question. And I can update you now. We have 171 polling centers in now, out of 204. And as it stands now, Kwabena Boateng has 56.4%. And you have Kwabena Boateng had 42.7%. It looks like this is how this is going to end.
Yes, Evans, I started by saying that, once the, Kwabena Boateng's guy indicated that the remaining polling centers were coming from, where you could call swing areas, not anybody's stronghold.
Yeah.
I knew that was what was going to be the case.
They're going to be established.
Yes, it was going to be that.
And because they're going to be sharing the votes.
They're going to be sharing the votes, basically.
And that is why both of them have stayed 56, 42, 56, 40. Nobody's changing.
It's the same thing. But you see, the point that Raymond makes, and by 2021, 2022, I think it was obvious at that point in time that Eduomi was a supporter of Alan Tremanting. Even as he went into the Ashanti region elections. People said that this is an Alan Tremanting supporter. Now, just as we saw Joe Wise say that he supported COP Mensah, because COP Mensah had supported him all this while.
Yeah.
It gets to that point where politically you cannot desert the people who have been with you.
Loyalty.
Loyalty is key. So if you're an Alan Tremanting, while you may not be on the ground, you may want to send some of your allies to go and support him. But I didn't think that the best person to send there was Hobson Adoye, particularly in a coalition center. I mean, that's not, he's not the best. I mean, so you could have sent people, some of their allies, to go and, engage in the mobilization and everything for him. That's something that they should do. And look, for the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, and I've said this before, the national interest movement had consistently been calling for independent candidates, and they have been marshalling resources to support independent candidates. And so, if you hear that they've done this, well, it's not wrong. And look, if you're Eduomi, and if anybody found himself in Eduomi's shoes, you would take on that help, because all you needed was to win the elections. So if they're bringing you help, if they're bringing you logistics, if they're bringing you resources, you would take them and hope that you would be able to make that change that you want, or you'll be able to win the election as you want. It may not have worked this time around, okay? But what it may have done, and this is the thing, election, I was making the point earlier, election 2024, you will not have, we've talked about how, the MPP will not have all the support that he has currently. Well, the MPP may want to say that, let's make sure we win this, if for nothing at all, in memory of John Kuma, no problem. They may want to win it. But if the neutrals descend on Ejisu, if they also make Ejisu their project, it would mean that you may have a contest, and a very difficult one at that. At this point, we may not be able to say, okay, this person is going to win or that person is going to win. But if the neutrals descend, and as we get close to the election, even the diehard NPP persons would come to the realization whether or not their party is going to win. I mean, elections are such that you sometimes will look at it and say, okay, I may win, I may not win. Now, if the feeling at the time within the NPP is that they may not win, if you are a constituent of Ejisu, for instance, you may want to say, why don't I go independent? After all, any government can deal with an independent candidate, okay? And not, so for instance, if I vote for an MPP candidate and the MPP doesn't win, and you've seen the MPP consistently in 2020 talking about the fact that, you must vote for us. If you vote for this person, I may not be able to work with him. You heard Nanado say the same thing about, Esiama when he was contesting, saying, I may not be able to work with him. But today, the very person he couldn't work with is the man who saved the NPP in Parliament.
And that obviously is a fair bit of analysis to go through. But you see on your screens there the numbers for you to gaze on as we wait for the latest numbers to come in. And one of the things that we'll be doing as we wait for the results to come, many of you possibly are now retiring into the comfort of your living room, waiting for the results at this time, because this is the time the PMSS should be wrapping up. But we want to stay true and bring you the results. Now, what you missed, obviously, is the results from one particular polling center, which has been a subject of some controversy. And that polling center is where we saw Kingsley Nyako. And I'm really... and Nanaya Juma will join us. If we can isolate, it was my colleague on Himintia was there. Isolate what the results were from that particular constituency. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what the results were from that particular constituency.
Polling station.
That particular polling center. right? And I want to know that because it's been a very controversial one to watch. Whilst we wait for that to come in, we want to just recap a bit of how this all played out today, right?
Fumeswa Pentecost Church.
Fumeswa Pentecost Church.
A police station.
Yes, that's a polling station where the incident occurred. We want to go over for you what you may have missed. You watch the video because this really is going to be the talking point into tomorrow. Really, if you look at it, the talking points based on the numbers that we have right now with the updated figures from the EC of 172 results, polling center results coming in so far. We have 56 for Kwabena Boateng and the Duomi as 42. We don't expect that this will change much as we begin to close this out. So the controversy in terms of looking at what will happen tomorrow and the talking points will not necessarily be about the results. Many expected this to happen. Of course, one of the things we'll talk about is the gap, the difference between Duomi's 43 now, as you see on your screens, with 176 of the polling station results in. He's managed to cut into the Kwabena Boateng's lead slightly. Kwabena Boateng is now at 55.9%, and he's now climbing slightly to 43%. So we're going to be watching that. Now it's gone to 177. So this is moving pretty quickly. We expect that the next 20 minutes this will wrap up. I'm looking at the key talking points going into tomorrow. One, of course, will be the gap there isn't that significant, isn't that huge between an independent candidate and the candidate for the incumbent party. They're going to read a lot into this, going into the main elections on December 7th. But the second, I guess, most topical one, because that one still has many moving parts with the police looking into this. EC is doing his work. Special prosecutor may come into a member of parliament. Is this one that is impeachable, for example? To qualify to be a member of parliament, you should not be somebody who has been convicted of a crime. So a lot of this thing is going to be played out tomorrow with the videos that we saw. And many of you are wondering, what am I talking about if you're just retiring to watch a television? So I'm going to play you everything we've had tonight. I'm going to play you that video. And then I'm going to also play you the interview we had with the Electoral Commission on this, when it first happened. And then we'll also hear from Kingsley Nyako, the MP who was seen in that video handing out that envelope. And then also, we will read for you where we are tonight from the Electoral Commission's old point of view in terms of the preliminary investigations that we've seen over the period, right? So just first of all, watch that video of this incident, which has been a major talking point all day, all as you await the final declaration of results.
Will have the opportunity to work, and that is what is motivating her to take part in the election. So I'll say that the election has been peaceful in Ejisu. So from the Pentecost polling station here in Fumeswa, one of the densely populated areas in the Ejisu constituency, we are moving to other places to monitor the elections and bring you update as far as the Ejisu by-election is concerned. Don't forget that over 100,000 electors are expected to cast their ballot today, and the EC expects nothing less than 50% in today's election being the turnout for today's election. So coincidentally, today is also a market day in Ejisu. So the EC hopes that many of the market women who are in the market will turn up later. It's rather unfortunate that the incident happened few minutes after you had left this polling station, because I was there with you. How do you feel that a polling station you visited in not less than 5 minutes, an incident of this nature was recorded there?
As you are saying, I didn't witness what transpired. So somebody just sent the video to me. So in the video, you will see that somebody pulled a white something, whether it is an envelope, whether it is a handkerchief, whether it's a paper, it is not clear to that. And it was, I think the attempt was to give it to the officer, but the officer did not pick. Then it was put on the table. So that's what we want to know, what has happened. So for the meantime, because of the election going on, if you want to do a lot of investigation, we even disorganize the voting. So we've asked you could see two of our officers were closer to the person who gave the pass it, whatever it is. So we have asked them to stay aside for us to finish with the election. Then when we finish with the election, then we'll go into the issue and see what was it. Was it envelope? If it is an envelope, what was the content? What is it meant for? Whatever, if it is handkerchief, what is it meant for? If it is ordinary paper, what is it meant for? So we will get to know the details of whatever the content or the parcel is and the purpose of the parcel. Then based on that, we'll take the next action.
I know EC officials have visited this said polling station. What has been your initial understanding of events? Was it an envelope? Was it a handkerchief? Was it an ordinary paper that the officials were reluctant in picking or accepting from this man?
I'm here to talk to those who went, but my understanding is that they went there just to ask them to stand aside for us to finish with the election. So later we'll get to know the details of it.
Then what then happens to the electorates? Because we know these two officials were working. They were busy.
We replace them with different set of people to do the work. We had a standby, so those people have moved in to take charge of the work. So the voting, we didn't want to create any scene there or to create any tension over there. So they have been asked to stand aside whilst we continue with the work. When we finish, we'll do the next investigation and take the next action that should be taken.
This is early days yet, but people are speculating that this could affect the credibility of today's exercise. As a director of elections for EC, do you see this having an impact or negative impact on today's exercise?
If you watch the video, you captured it. If you look at the critically, the officers refused even to receive whatever was being offered to them. So I said, I don't know how this one will affect the integrity of the election. Is it because of that they are going to increase somebody's vote or deny somebody from the chance of voting? All these things will be avoided. That's why we ask them to stand aside. So to us, it doesn't have any effect on the integrity of the election.
The belief is that maybe, I'm not speculating, that probably it was money that was exchanged hands. But yes, but if for instance it comes out to be money, and people will assume that maybe there are many other officials who have been compromised, who are, yes, I'm speculating. So you are saying that there's no way this could affect the credibility of the election, but people assume that if, for instance, it was money that was being exchanged, it's likely to affect the credibility because...
If it is even money, and it happened at that particular center, and as I said, if you watch the video very well, the people, they were not ready to receive whatever the parcel was. So it was dropped on the table, right? So for now, we shouldn't crucify them till we do the investigation and get to the root of it. Because clearly, if you watch, you captured it, you have a look at it. The parcel was being given to them, and the people were not ready to take it. So it was dropped on the table. When it was there, who took it? Now we don't know. Whether they might even went back to pick it, then because that portion did not appear in the camera. So let's wait and do the investigation, and we'll see what we do.
You seem to feel so proud about these officers for not accepting, like not taking it directly from the man. Is it your position?
For now, don't draw conclusions. In the video, they refuse to receive it, right? But what happens after you have left it? I wouldn't know. That's what I'm saying. So the investigation will show whether, as they refuse to receive it, they didn't take it and the man took it back. I wouldn't know, right? If they went back and took it too, then there's also its one implication. So let's wait. We shouldn't crucify anybody. Let's get to the root of it. Once we have done the investigation, then we'll know what was it. Did they take it or the giver took it back? All these things will come up. Then based on that, we'll draw our conclusions and take the necessary primitive measures if need be.
How long will these investigations take?
We are during the election. We'll finish today and we'll go there. If we have to even give it to the police to investigate, they will do that. So the commission will take the necessary step to clear the system.
I'm a citizen, and if people think that I've done something untoward, it is their own, their right to do so. But I'm saying that I can't influence the EC officials who are trained, who are honest, who are disciplined to do anything untoward. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. And I cannot do that in the public space. I cannot do that. No, that's what I say about it.
So, but do you feel bad with the spin on it? Because it's been circled and circulated everywhere.
I know that I've not influenced anybody. I've not influenced the process. I don't feel bad because I know I've done nothing wrong. Okay? I know it's politics. People are going to spin. You know, we've been in this political game all this while. And those who are spinning, I don't begrudge them. That is politics. That is it. But me, Kingsley Nakon, I'm putting on record that I have not done anything, whether overtly or covertly, to influence the process. My candidates will win this election fair and square. Let me ask you this question. The polling agents, six candidates with their agents, isn't it? Yeah. So if I had done something bad to influence the process, don't you think that they would have raised an issue there? Your reporter was here. Ask him if anybody raised anything against me when I even put the document to the person. They would have raised an issue. So people say somewhere and they cry wolf. I mean, that is unfair, but it's a game. I accept I'm a politician. And I respect Ghanaians. It was a document. No, I'm saying that I respect Ghanaians, and people said outside they didn't know what that, and they sit down and conclude and say that I'm trying to, I mean, I'm beyond that. I cannot do that.
But, Honorable, before you take a leave of us, personally, I'm being castigated for being a very bad person. As a member of parliament, you are aware of what happened here. Can you take me through what actually happened here? Because I'm being castigated left, right, center.
Like you have done what? That you've done what?
Because he was the one going on live, on air with whatever content. That is how come.
Me, I don't know. Everything happens for a purpose. I don't know your mind. I don't know the reason why this is out. And I said that I don't think you've done anything wrong to affect my person. If you've done anything wrong, your judgment, you know about it. But what I know is that I came around to observe the process. Then I even got an interview with you. Later, some people sent me this, and I look at it and I say, what is it? I've been a teacher for a long time. Ghanaians know that I'm disciplined. Me. I can never do anything to undermine the process. Okay? You've been covering political for a very long time. If I were to influence the process negatively or to my kindest favor, honestly, sincerely, it is the form that I'm going to do that.
So do you feel bad that the officers have been relieved of their duty? Currently, the officers there
How do you feel about this whole process?
I think they are victim of circumstances, and I think that, I don't know, but they've done anything wrong. This is what I'll say about that. But I will address this issue properly, just that you forced me to put some words across.
What was in the envelope?
Yes, that is a question many people are asking, whether it was an envelope, it was a handkerchief, or anything of it.
I'm saying that I've done nothing to influence the process. That's it. So if the IGP is being petitioned to invite me, I'm ready for him, and I will. When we get there, I know what I'm going to talk about. But no process has been undermined. Nothing untoward has been done. People are speculating, isn't it? Because they think that this was it. But you sit in your home and you're able to determine what has been, delivered or something. I mean, that is so wrong. You don't make conclusions on that. You need to do proper interrogation. Ask yourself question that this whole thing, was it able to influence a certain process? And the places
there is no relationship between you and the officers to warrant a document. You don't know them.
You don't know them. So why would you want to give an envelope to them, Honorable?
So if I see you, do I have to know you before I do you a favor? Assuming, so that question doesn't even arise. So there shouldn't be any relationship before, you know what I mean? And I'm saying that I've not influenced anybody negatively to turn the vote of the people in a certain direction.
So are you going to accept, for instance, an invitation from the IGP or the police to investigate this?
I've answered this question already, so there's no need, respectfully, there's no need for me to belabor the point. Oh, but you asked the question earlier when I did that. nothing wrong has been done. You know what I mean? So people should. I'm hoping that my candidate wins, and he will win fair and square, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a convincing win. And this is politics. I know some of my friends even send it to me and they're laughing. You know what I mean? So me, I'm a psychologist, and I'm not bothered at all. But I respect Ghanaians and all those who are raising these issues with good intent. I don't have any promise about that. But you use the word spin. People will spin. And they know that what happened was not to undermine the process, but they also spin for some political. The point is that even without this Ombeka, I think some motor report elsewhere, people are exaggerating a whole lot. So I said there people will have reasons to, you know what I mean? So
when you say you are not bothered, does it mean that this incident here does not affect you in any way as far as your political career is concerned?
Me say I've not done anything wrong. You need to prove that I've done something wrong. My political career, how would this affect my political career? Have I killed somebody? Have I done something untoward and all that? Please. You know what I mean? Because I respect you, that was why I compromised to do that. Because I respect, you know what I mean, Ghanaian, that's why I've done that. But I'm saying that.
From the narration you gave us, you said it was
a document.
No, listen to me well. I'm saying that I've done nothing untoward about this process. I'm saying that those who are suggesting that, for example, there was something in the envelope, don't have any evidence to say that. No, sorry, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
So definitely there was something in the envelope, but not a document.
I'm saying that I've not done anything negative to undermine the process. That's it. Yeah, that's
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. You saw in your shot the MP for Kwadaso, Professor Kingsley Nyako.
Okay. For him, Interior, and just giving you a wrap of everything. The last interview that I saw is that of Kingsley Nyako, who is the Member of Parliament in question, Member of Parliament for Kwadaso, who went to the constituency to obviously monitor the polls, but then got to that polling station and was seen in that video that you watched, handing out that envelope. The Electoral Commission issued a statement after the first statement they put out with some clarity on what their preliminary investigations has shown and a few key things. They established that the two officers in question were indeed temporary EC officials. They had recruited them to participate and also conduct the polls there in that particular polling station. Now, secondly, they also told us their names. They are Regina Sewa, is a ballot issuer, and George Sasu, who is a presiding officer. Those two were the individuals in question there, those you saw in your shot. Now, the preliminary investigations also revealed that the man in the video, we're talking about Kingsley Nyako, the MP for Kwadaso, walked to their table, and you saw that he walked to their table, but we also saw that he walked with the presiding officer and asked them to use the contents of the envelope for their lunch, following which he walked away because he had already gone to them and asked them if they were hungry and offered them money for food. You know, that is what the Electoral Commission had told us. Now, what have they done so far? One, they have withdrawn them. They withdrew them immediately. This went public. It took a couple of hours, but they did so during the vote itself, and they were quickly replaced. You heard that from Sebo Kwaku, and we also heard from the EC telling us that they've also now had discussions with the Ghana Police Service to kickstart the process for criminal investigations into the matter. Now, so that is a central point, and so this is one story that has several moving parts indeed to it, and we've not had the last of this. We are waiting to hear from Ediomi from the ground there. We have assurance that we'll get to talk to Hope Sinadoya and co, who are representing him at the collation center. So we'll get some clarity on his position on this for you. And then also, what I've also learned tonight is the security arrangement that we saw today. This is Ejisu, and because of the Diomi factor, there was some tension Allegations have been leveled against the EC, against the NPP itself, and the police are out there in full force. I know the IGP himself is there, and that's why you've seen that this has been peaceful. We haven't had any incident of disturbance across that constituency. It's been very peaceful. The major conversation in terms of that slight fly in the ointment is this bribery incident that we saw there, the alleged bribery incident. The man himself denies that he had done so with intention to influence. The EC says he asked them if they haven't eaten, and they said possibly yes, they haven't, and so he gave them money to buy food. But as we know, we've spoken to Martin Kwabena, who says that is criminal. You can do that. It's treating, and he's expecting that the special prosecutor will get involved also. So that's just a summary of that key point there. We're just seeing that we're now at 192. 192. And 192 polling stations out of 204. So, in essence, we are left to 12.
Yes, just 12.
12 polling centers to go, and then this will be wrapped up very quickly. With the 192 polling stations, Kwabena Boateng has 55.3. Kwabena Boateng has 43.8. He seems to be closing the gap slightly, but of course, this is still quite a margin in terms of the difference there. We are looking at a difference of what? Some 12% difference between
55
and 43.
So 12%.
Yeah, 12% difference. That's healthy.
Well, that's healthy. I mean, Evans, we've said it. I mean, we've said it at this point. The results are not going to change. It doesn't look like
that's healthy, except that if you consider where this is happening, this is Ejisu.
Yes, but that's why we're saying that, I mean, at the beginning, I said that if he gets even 40%, that's a good showing.
Yeah.
So he's put up a good showing. And even though we would have that analysis and say, because this is, and you started, because it's an NPP stronghold, but for the NPP, knowing where they were coming from, all they wanted was a win.
Yeah.
And once they have the win, they're good to go.
And it appeared that there was a lot more fear in them.
Yes.
So you do not hear any serious NPP member saying that, we'll do 80%, we'll do 70%.
No, they say we'll win.
Yeah. So it was just, we are just going to go home with it. I had your interaction with Nanabi last night. He was not in the mood to tell us. You remember the Bawumia time? He told everybody that Bawumia was likely to do huge numbers.
Yeah.
And everybody was convinced that we were going to do 70, 80 and all of that.
Yeah.
But I did not hear a party that had been winning 75%, 78%, and over in a constituency repeating those huge numbers, because there was real fear on the ground. In fact, from the evidence we see, it was justified fear. Because if they didn't put in measures, if they didn't actively work on the ground, it would have been more difficult getting the 56 or so that they are garnering now. You cannot, for example, at a time that's more like an internal fight between two NPP people, be having such lowered numbers. Because ideally, people should be committed more to the NPP as a party than to the individuals contesting. You get that? Ideally.
Yes, ideally, but you see,
one would have thought that this is it is a stronghold. The characteristic of a stronghold, and I think it was Dr. Asasanti, he was trying to discern or spread out the various voting behaviors.
Yeah.
The characteristics of most strongholds are that they vote because of alignment for sociological or psychological reasons. They really know that this is our party. So we'll always vote for our party, no matter who is put there. That's why the theory about goats or so being made candidates and people still voting for
some constituencies.
Yes, would happen. But for a stronghold to have such division at the core, this is parliamentary votes. It means that people can divorce themselves. Not most of the people, not everybody, but some of the people can divorce themselves from the thinking that you are guaranteed our votes no matter who you put there because it's a stronghold. What they are sending as a signal is that some of us can still say that even if it's a stronghold and we are still NPP people, can have differences on who represents us. And it's not everybody when you put before us, we are going to endorse and put in that seat.
And see, the thing about a stronghold also is an indication, and particularly when you have when you have party members contesting. So the thing about a stronghold is that
it's a tougher contest.
It's a tougher contest. You see that, okay, so This is an MPP member who says, I am unhappy with processes leading to the previous primary, so I have now decided to go independent. He still enjoys a lot of support, okay? So this is not somebody who just said, who hasn't really held any position within the party and then decides, I'm going to run as an independent candidate. 3 times member of parliament, who's disgruntled, who says, the party has been unfair to me, and so I want to, and the party is still not resolved the things I talked about. So I am not going to subject myself to an election where I think that things are not properly being done. Look, Kofi Ofosun Kansa, when he lost the election, he talked about the primary, he talked about the fact that the album was problematic.
Yeah.
But he decided to run on that album, so he has no business complaining. And that was, you know, he said that, well, I knew there were problems, but I accepted to run on this album, so I can't complain. That's how he decided to go about it. But there are others who said, I'm not going to be part of this process. Now he's gone independent, and based on his work within the last 12 or so years within the constituency, you have seen his performance.
Yeah.
Okay? So that actually would explain why the NPP was very cautious. And they'll be cautious also because this is a time that a lot of things are not going on well for them.
Yeah, and I threw in the mix the question of Dumso.
Yes, exactly, because in the Ashanti region...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly. They bore the brunt of this.
So a lot of things are not going on well for the NPP. So if you're the NPP...
All the people of Ejisu too, even after it was quite clear to everybody that they go to a by-election that they were experiencing Dumso.
I don't know.
Well,
that would have been very strange.
Well, you think that if the bulk supply points had gone off?
We do Machiavellian politics in this country. It will not be wrong in isolating an area for power merely for political reasons. We have done far worse than that. We put roads there. Haven't you seen areas that we've sent tractors on the ground and they are actually grading and doing all of those things merely because of an election? Them giving you power that you are paying for.
And that actually will tell you, and that would tell you the MPP's fear going into this election.
That's true.
Because for the NPP to actually embark on projects, it is just like the Kumewu by-election. In Kumewu also, because of the performance of the independent candidate. But in Kumewu, for instance, I remember I said it on air, that the happenings or the situation in Kumewu in 2020 is not the same today.
Yeah.
That man, he was unhappy with the process leading to the elections. Now, they opened up for primaries. You didn't go and contest.
That's true.
You still don't have that problem.
Yeah.
And you've not been a member of parliament before, like a me who can say, I've done this and I've done that, look at that and vote for me. You haven't done anything. You just, came up last year.
And the latest update is that 198 polling stations are now out of the 204. And Kwabena Boateng still has 55.3%. And the Dumi has 43.8%. I want to take you there live now. Let's go. Let's go to the collation center where Nana Yaojima, Oheming Teria, and Nana Boache, Dankwa Yadom are all standing by now because a few more of the... 9 outstanding. Yes, exactly. A few more.
190 to 195.
This is 198. So we're talking about 6, only 6. Well, this is the update. We'll update this one on your screen pretty shortly. Yeah. So yes, of course it is. It's statistically impossible. We'll get back there because we lost them briefly, but we'll get back there because this is just about in the next few minutes. We should hear the EC declaring the results. We get you that quick reaction, and we can wrap up. But 198 polling stations out of 204. Kwabena Boateng is at 55.3, and Kwabena Owusu-Edomi is at 43.8, right? And so that clearly is that the difference there. Oh, goodness me. I just got an update from my friends with the ECG, and they're clarifying that Ejisu went off. They were going off. During the election. Well, they were going off in the lead up to the elections. Yes, they were going off as well.
He's telling you that.
Well, my sources. My sources are telling me that.
Happy to say that they were putting on the people's power.
No, I mean,
the ways to the election.
No, I mean it's the way it's not something they can do anything about.
I see.
You remember that the Gridco had been disconnecting them from the supply point.
Evans, to be fair to Gridco, at the point, when I complained that my lights were off, I was told that it's no longer Gridco.
No, you complained. It's not Gridco.
ECG was in charge.
Well, interesting.
I mean, at a point in time, but because we've been able to get light crude oil, we've purchased some 450 barrels of it into the country.
But today there is full 10 power supply.
I'm told that after today in Ejisu.
I am told that
election day.
It will never happen.
I am told that now, and 450,000 barrels is not all that we need. There are additional barrels on.
That's coming.
So we can say that the doomsday will stop.
We'll see. We'll see. That's the thing politicians don't want to say, but you said it very categorically.
No, we can say that it will stop. Soon. When it stops.
Soon. Soon.
Because they have used the soon from the president.
Let's take you to the Collation Center. Let's bring in Nana Yaujima, who is standing by now for us. Nana, as of the last update, I'm reading 198 out of the 204 polling stations. Has that changed yet, and are we close to a declaration? We're now just on the brink of hearing a declaration from the Electoral Commission. We have the latest update of 198. What's the update? What's the latest in terms of wrapping up this counting so we can get a declaration?
Evans, now everything is over. The EC has now projected all 204 polling stations here within the Ejisu constituency, and as expected, the NPP candidate in the person of Kwabena Boateng has emerged victorious with 55.8% of votes cast here in the Ejisu constituency. In nominal terms, he had 27,772 votes against Mr. Kwabena Osu-Ediomi's 43.3%. That is 21,534 votes out of the total ballots cast here within the Ejisu constituency. And the voter turnout is 49.1% here within the Ejisu constituency. So unfortunately, the numbers in terms of turnout couldn't even make half of the total number of electorates within the Ejisu constituency. If we should go through the full figures or the numbers again, the CPP candidate in the person of Osei Esther had 0.2% with representing 89 of the votes, representing 0.2%. The NPP candidate in the person of Kwabena Boateng was able to make 27,772 of the votes, representing 55.8%. Beatrice Boache of the LPG had 0.3% of votes cast here today. Mr. Kwabena Osu-Ediomi, who is the closest contender of Kwabena Boateng, had 43.3% of votes cast here today. Fredua Ajeman Joseph, who has already conceded defeat, had 0.4% of the votes, and per the numbers that I'm seeing here, he is third when you rank them according to the votes that they were able to attain. He is number 3, and Atakra Joseph had 0.0% of the votes that have been certified here at Ejisu. So obviously, Mr. Kwabena Boateng is winner of this election with 55.8% of the votes cast. So this is how things are playing out here in the Ejisu constituency. Already, the NPP are out there jubilating within the principal streets of Ejisu. The jubilation started somewhere 2 hours ago, and according to them, they had been able to make the numbers per their collation, and these numbers are reflecting here at the EC's office. So far, so good. Things have been very, very good for the NPP here within the Ejisu constituency. The only downside of this election is that the voter turnout was hovering around 49%. So unfortunately, this by-election couldn't make even 50% of the total registered number of voters within the Ejisu constituency. And I think that it's one thing that the election watchers or people interested in this election will be looking at and analyzing why the numbers were so low when it comes to the turnout. But the NPP will see this as a very good election, because it was being predicted that even if they would win, they wouldn't even make this margin. But from calculation, it looks like the NPP has given a margin of more than 10% when it comes to this particular by-election within the Ejisu constituency. So the provisional results that is yet to be read out by the EC, meaning that is yet to be certified. These are results that the EC is projecting here. They are yet to certify these results by calling them out. But per this results, if nothing should change, it looks like the NPP candidate has emerged victorious when it comes to the election. We are trying to get interview with some of the people when it comes to the camp of Mr. Kwabena Boateng. I can see Mr. Hobson Adoye here, and he's looking at the figures. I don't know if he's still trying to calculate the figures and see if there is anything that they could do about it. But I saw him walk there, go take a picture of the total results that was projected here. I don't know how they intend to analyzing this and what could be the strategy going forward. But from what we are seeing here, we are yet to see any of the agents within this hall raise an objection to the figures that have been projected by the EC. So very soon we understand that the NPP candidate is somewhere around the hall, and very soon he will be ushered in and come for the EC to make the final pronouncement and declare him winner of the election. As I said earlier, the NPP candidate, Kwabena Boateng, has 55.8% of the ballot cast, making him the winner of the election here at the Ejisu constituency. And if the EC should go ahead and call out the results, it means that he becomes the MP elect for the Ejisu constituency. I have with me the agent for Mr. Kwabena Boateng for this particular by-election, Mr. Hobson Adoye. Welcome to Joy News.
Thank you.
So I saw you seated there, and you went through the figures with the EC. Will you say that these results are the true certified results, and you have accepted them as being projected there?
Oh yeah, we've accepted it. It's a true reflection of what we also have. We tried to compare our own results. In fact, after the whole collation, they sent it to us, and everything is intact. So we accept it. But I will describe this election as a monocracy, or election of endorsement. How? Look at the monies that they've sent to this particular place. The money that they share today, I can tell you it will be equal to the IMF money that they've given to us. Why? Just a small constituency like this, come and spend this money? It's too much. But we are waiting for them in December. They should come and share the same money again.
Are you okay with the results? That
I am saying that I've been here, I've seen the figures from the polling station. We don't have anything to contest. All our contest is that the monies that they shared today was too much.
So earlier, there's this issue that came up in one of the polling stations where a member of parliament went there and dropped a white envelope on a table. And to some people, now we are not certain of the content of this envelope. But how do you take this as, you know, a supporter of the candidate?
Why are you saying you are not certain with the content? Maybe you can say you are not certain with the amount. But automatically, it was money that he dropped. And a member of parliament, a professor, doing this is against the law. In fact, the police need to arrest him and prosecute him. It's against the law. But everybody is quiet because he's MP. No.
You think it affected Mr. Diomi's chances?
This is what they did throughout. As they are giving the officials, they are giving members who are going to, ordinary voters who are going to vote. In fact, people are hungry. So if you give someone 1,000 cedis to go and vote for you, automatically the person will go and vote.
There are allegations that your camp also shared some fertilizer and bicycles within Mr. Diomi's camp. Also, the allegation, yes.
Fertilizer? All the fertilizers you saw in this constituency was coming from government.
And the bicycles?
From government. Everything that you see them sharing from government. Adiomi did not share anything.
From what I've been observing here within the Coalition Center, a lot of the people who came in as representative of Mr. Ediomi are people that I have seen aligned with the butterfly movement. Is it that there is an alliance?
Apart from Hobson Adoye, who is 0.1 person, who is part?
I saw one man seated here with grey hair, he wore white. I know him as a staunch supporter of Mr. Alan Kyerematen. Unfortunately, I do not have his name offhand, but he's someone I know who have been going on the media campaigning for Mr. Alan Kyerematen.
Is it wrong?
No, so I'm asking if there is an alliance.
Is it wrong to, you know, Alan?
Earlier, I saw Ekwia Kranchewa on the ground, and she's someone you know.
Kranchewa is a voter in Ejisu constituency.
She was also mobilizing support for...
He has an interest. He has an interest. She has an interest because he stays here. He votes here. So he has to take interest in who becomes as a MP. So apart from that, what again?
So back to the question, is there an alliance between this particular independent candidate and the camp of...
Kyerematen has opened his arms. He's calling all political parties, individuals to come and join hands with him. So if Adiomi decide to join Alan Kyerematen, it's praise the Lord, because we are looking for a lot of people to join us, join forces with us, so that we can move forward. I came here on my own volition, that, let me come and study the terrain. I met Mr. Adiomi yesterday, so, oopsie, I want you to help me in the coalition center. I said, no problem, I will come. Are you getting me? Throughout, nobody has seen me in the constituency doing this or that. But he personally told me yesterday that he wants me to help him in the coalition center, and accepted. So I'm here, and we've gone through successfully. Everything is okay. They've been able to do what they plan to do, and they've gotten what they want.
Is this to suggest that in the upcoming general elections, all who decide to go as independent in various constituencies will have the support of Mr. Kyerematen?
If anybody decide to go independent and you approach Mr. We are looking for members. We are looking for members. So once you come, I don't think Alan will reject anybody that don't come closer to me also. Once you join forces with him, he's going to accept you. Then we move forward. Alan is an independent presidential candidate. Now you can see a lot of entities, individuals and groups joining forces with him. So if any independent candidate decide to also join force with Alan Kyerematen, why not? is going to willingly accept it. So that one is not any big deal. It's not any big deal at all.
Have you communicated the results here to Mr. Ediomi, and how does he feel about this? Are we going to see him in the next general election?
Next general election?
Yes, in 2024. December.
Next general election, I'll be busy crisscrossing the country for Alan Kojo Chiramantin. If he decides to go, so be it.
But have you communicated today's results to him yet?
Yeah, he's with the collation. He's at the collation center, his personal collation center, and whatever they presented to us to cross-check is intact. So he's already aware of the results. He's already aware. And you see, one man, an individual, giving the whole state. MPP, they are in charge of this state. So an individual giving the state this kind of competition, Adiomi is a hero.
Thank you very much.
Very grateful.
So Mr. Hobson Adoye is the agent for Mr. Kwabena Adiomi in the collation center, and he has been here since morning, gone through the various polling stations, and he ended up here seated, and he was the representative for Mr. Adiomi. And according to him, his camp is happy with what they have seen here, and also the numbers that they are seeing tally with what they also have in their collation center. So it looks like the team has also accepted defeat. Let's run through the numbers once again. As I said, the CPP candidate in the person of Esther Osei was able to make 0.2% of the ballot cast. Kwabena Boateng of the New Patriotic Party, who has emerged victorious, made 55.8% of ballots cast. Beatrice Boache of the LPG was able to make 0.3%. Kwabena Adiomi, who is the independent parliamentary candidate, also made 43.2% of the ballots cast. Mr. Fredia Ajiman, another independent candidate who has already also accepted defeat, but still he's seated within the collation center, has been able to make 0.4%. And finally, Joseph Ajiman was also able to make 0.0%. So this is what is panning out here, and the voter turnout was less than 50%, somewhere around 49.7%. I can see some of the NPP national executives already coming in. The chairman who left the room briefly, that is Mr. Intim, is back to the hall, and he's coming in to take his seat. The information that I have already picked on the ground is that the candidate for the New Patriotic Party is also somewhere within the premises, and very soon, when the EC is set for the pronouncement, he will walk in, sit down, and get declared or be declared as a winner of the election. So far, so good. The information that I've been picking outside the coalition center is that the people of the Ejisu constituency are everywhere jubilating. That is, people who voted in favor of the New Patriotic Party, they are everywhere jubilating on the streets of the Ejisu constituency. And what they are saying is that they've been able to beat the traitor, and the NPP has once again been victorious, and the NPP has retained the seat in the Ejisu constituency. So this is what is happening here. I don't know what exactly the EC officials are waiting for, but it looks like they are still going through some figures, trying to be certain about what they have done before they announce the winner of this election. We are trying to get more interviews here at the hall, but unfortunately it looks like all the NPP representatives are very busy. Earlier the MP for Kumawu accepted to speak to us, but I can see him now engaging the constituency chairman of the NPP here, and let's try. We would want to speak to the regional organizer of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. I can see he's granting some interviews to some media houses, so let's try get him to speak to us. He's been on the ground since the NPP finished its primary, and he has been campaigning for the NPP candidate in the Ashanti region. So Francois is here speaking to some of the media houses. Immediately he is done, we also try get him to give us a perspective or his view of what is happening here. So Francois is still on the ground, and other NPP executives are all here trying to get the... Okay, it looks like the EC is set. I can hear the EC calling for order in the hall, and it looks like they are almost done. It looks like the NPP is almost done. Very soon they will declare the results. The information I have is that the MP-elect, or the Kwabena Boateng, who has emerged victorious in this election, is somewhere around the premises, and very soon he will be ushered in to be declared winner of this election. But we are still here trying to get some more interviews. Nana Wache, so not long ago you went out. So far, what has been the reaction of the people? I know that they are aware of the collated results.
Well, we know from the provisional results that we have, Kwabena Boateng, lawyer, the MPP candidate, seems to be in the lead, has taken a very an early lead. Some party supporters are outside the coalition center here. The information we've been picking so far indicates that lawyer Kwabena Boateng is here at the coalition center, awaiting the EC to officially begin the declaration process, after which he would also come inside the coalition center where the EC would declare him as winner of this by-election.
Right. Mr. Francis Adomako, who happens to be the regional organizer of the NPP in the Ashanti region, is here with us. Mr. Adomako, this election proved to be tough for the NPP. Did you notice that on the ground?
Every single it's a contest. When you are going to write an exam, definitely no exam comes easy. If you are going to write an exam, an internal exam like this, and the internal exam, your main opponent is somebody who used to be your party member. Remember, Honorable Ejisu has served as a member of parliament in Ejisu for 12 solid years. The first 8 years, from 2009 to 2016, he was a member of parliament when the party was in opposition. He was not that strong because his party was not in power. But between 2016 and 2020, when our party came to power, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, appointed him as a Deputy Minister of Roads. That made him more stronger. Due to that, most of the roads in Ejisu were done under his tenure. So if most of the roads in Ejisu was done under his tenure, so you could imagine that the people who saw the road being constructed would have that kind of support. Again, prior to this particular election, he went out talking about the fact that he was the one who did the roads. Most of the people believed him. That made it a bit difficult because it was propaganda that had been sent. In addition, you have the NDC not in the context. The regional chairman of the NDC also came out publicly to say that all the supporters should rally behind the independent candidate Ejisu. Not only that, there are rumors saying that they gave him resources. So if NDC is not in the race, and you have the regional chairman canvassing votes. Remember, in the year 2020, the National Democratic Congress pulled 14,000 votes in a Ejisu election. So even if half of NDC decides that we are casting our ballot for the independent candidate, it makes it tough. Again, in general, by elections, we have low turnouts. In addition to, the parties has its own internal problems. Some of the members were aggrieved. So you could imagine we have a complicated issue that made it a bit difficult for the party. But notwithstanding, the party stood on its ground to make sure that every single hole, every household in Ejisu, every church in Ejisu, everyone we needed to speak to, we spoke to, and that's what we are seeing today. I'm happy. I'm happy in the sense that at the end of the day, the seats that belong to NPP have not gone the other way around. Now, John Kume's seat is going to be occupied by lawyer Kwabena Boateng, and that is what makes me happy.
It looks like after this election, the NPP has some internal healing to do. As organizer of the NPP in the Ashanti region, do you already have some plans in mind that you have to roll out?
As the national chairman has already reiterated, we'll go back to our drawing board. When events of this nature turns out, you look at where were your strengths, what were our weaknesses, the opportunities we have to take advantage of, and our threats. We'll definitely look at these SWOT analysis, go back to our drawing board, wherever we fell short, those we need to speak to, those even if we need to beg, those we need to plead, everyone we need to talk to, we'll try as much as possible to bring all on board. At least it's an internal issue, and members who feel they are offended, all of them went to support Honorable Ejisu, and that's what we see in this particular election.
You are the regional organizer. It means that most of the times you've been going through the region into the constituencies. Are these issues widespread within the Ashanti region, which happens to be the stronghold of the NPP?
They are not widespread. I believe there are some few constituencies that members, if you recall, some of the constituencies have issues, and it's not new to us. We'll look at all those constituencies that have concerns. As a matter of urgency, we'll get to those members who feel aggrieved, sit down with them, judge with them, and work out the best amicable solution to take. So that, because as we move towards election 2024, we want to break the 8. And breaking the 8 will not just be something on a silver platter. Its actions, charity begins at home, and action speaks more than words. So it's not going to be just a mere talk. We need to get closer to them, especially those who, in one way or the other, feel that they were not treated well across all the 47 constituencies. We'll do our homework and make sure that, look, we prepare very well as we move towards election 2024.
Is the Ashanti region drifting from the NPP?
No, Ashanti region remains wrong. I mean, the mere fact that even when you are in your house, you have so many kids. One of them, we keep offending our, but still, they are your children. You can't throw them away. You find ways and means of talking to them. Even if your wife may offend you, but the fact that your wife has offended you doesn't mean that you should divorce your wife. You know what I'm saying? So no matter where the problems are, we will get almost every single party member, listen to them. I personally believe the General Secretary will take it up and will make sure that, look, this is our stronghold, and the party would the region will continue to be the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party. Every single thing that we need to do in order to make sure that, look, we are formidable as we prepare towards election 2024, we'll surely do it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Adomako. And he is the regional organizer for the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. So now the EC is still in a meeting, and I'm sure that they are trying to put everything in order so that very soon we'll have the results being declared and the winner will come in and the EC would have to declare him as the winner. The information that I have been picking is that Mr. Kwabena Boateng is already somewhere around the coalition center. So it's expected that very soon he will come in when the EC is done with what they are doing there for him to be declared as winner. Not long ago, I saw the EC working on the pink sheets. So I think that we are drawing closer to the end of the day. It's 11:12 and things here, or the process, started somewhere around 7 a.m. and we've been to almost all of the polling stations, speaking to the electorates. We spoke to party agents within the polling stations. We spoke to some of the observers, and we are wrapping everything up here at the coalition center within the Ejisu constituency. It's the St. Joseph Catholic Church, and we are within the church auditorium where the EC chose to have this place as the coalition center. So it's actually the strong room. The EC officials had a table outside where they took the pink sheets and they came in here, certified these results. They had to run checks with all the political party representatives within the auditorium, and after they had accepted these results, the EC went ahead and certified them and projected them on the screen you see behind me. So far, all 204 polling station results have been certified, and from what we have seen here, or what we have noticed on the board, the NPP's Kwabena Boateng is in clear lead, 55.79% of the total ballots cast, with Mr. Kwabena Boateng, who happens to be his closest contender, polling 43.24% of the total ballots cast here. We will try and get more interviews here on the ground. I can see the constituency chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti, or in the Ejisu constituency, also on the ground, and we'll try get some few words from him. This is a constituency that the NPP used to win by a huge margin, but unfortunately the attempt of a comeback by the former MP, Mr. Kwabena Boateng, who used to be an NPP MP, to stage a comeback as an independent candidate, affected the chances of the NPP in this particular by-election. It looks like it wasn't an easy win for the NPP, and this has been reiterated by Mr. Stephen Intim, who happens to be the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party. So things are calm here within the coalition center, and it's expected that very soon the NPP candidate will be declared winner of the election by the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission are still going through the figures. I'm sure that they would want to have everything right. That is why they are still going through the figures. And immediately all is done, it's very likely that Mr. Kwabena Boateng, who has emerged winner of this election, will walk into the premises and get declared as winner of this election. So we are here trying to, I'm waiting for the EC to finally declare the winner of the election. Until then, I hand over to you in the studio, Evans.
Okay, and brilliant job there from Nana Yaujima. And the thing about covering elections always. It's when it's when the elections travels way beyond you anticipate. And you still need to stay true because you've promised you're at election headquarters and you bring the results to them. And we are not done until the Electoral Commission declares it, right? And so we need to stay on this until we hear that. And that's the and we can go when everybody else is retired. We can't. We have to stay with you, and that is where the challenge as always is. But we love this. This is what we do here at the election headquarters. There's the reason why you stay with us. And I know that many of you are looking forward to the December 7th election eve, going into all the way until we call the elections. And so, yes, we're here. And Nana Yaojuma and the team on the ground doing a fantastic job, bringing us all the updates and the results. We know the outcome now. As you see on your screens there, it's 204 out of 204, the polling stations in. And you've seen there, Kwabena Boateng with 55.8%. and Aduomi at 43.3% of the votes there on your screen that you see. That this is how we believe it's going to pan out. It's going to end. The Electoral Commission, we're just waiting for them to declare this. They're just going to dotting their I's and crossing their T's before we hear that. Also, we can hear a quick reaction from the man who won himself. We've already heard from the chief representative of Aduomi at the ground with a concession speech of a sort to us, and an exclusive interview from Hobson Adoyo conceding that they've lost. One thing he did, though, on that controversial moving story that we'll see a bit of tomorrow going forward, that allegation, not allegation, the video of the money being dropped on the table for the two EC officers, he says that the Kingston Nyako, who is the MP for Kwadaso, should be arrested. The position of the Aduomi camp, he should be arrested. We'll see what the police will do about that because I know they're looking into this also. We'll get some clarity around that tomorrow. But now it's about waiting for that official declaration from the Electoral Commission, and then we will know for sure where the chips will fall with the numbers. But no doubt that MPP has won this. Kwabena Boateng has won this. It wasn't a surprise at all. The camp of Aduomi had hoped that it would turn out today that he wins this, even if he wins it by close margin. They were drawing on history. They were drawing on precedent in the Ashanti region. NPP has won. But there's something that Hobson Adoyo said about what it's cost the MPP to secure this vote, what it's cost them. And clearly, from what we're hearing from the ground, it's cost them an arm and a leg. Well, it's cost them an arm and a leg.
Well, certainly it will
to get a 12% margin.
It will cost a lot of money because if you are the NPP, you don't want to repeat the mistakes of Asin North. You don't want to go into an elections and lose. Particularly, for Asin North, it was a seat held by the NDC. And they're going to tell you, oh, okay, well, we lost it also because of how things may have gone. You can make all the excuses, but this is your stronghold. Okay, this is a former Deputy Minister of Finance's seat, a man that some people said at the point of his death that he could become running mate. So the last thing you want to do is to lose that seat. So the NPP went in there, and initially, when the NDC said they were considering contesting or not contesting, you probably would have said, oh, then this is just supposed to be a walk in the park for the NPP after all. Beg your pardon. After all, it's their seat, it's a safe seat, and the NDC has done the right thing. Then Aduomi steps in and says, I want to go as an independent candidate. But if you are the NPP, you must be concerned because of, the guy's popularity. He's been 3 times Member of Parliament. And so you must do everything possible. Now, I do not subscribe to this whole idea of spending unnecessarily in a constituency.
But that's what they have to do today. But what does it say about incumbent party coming up against an independent and they have to spend so much?
But that's the point.
The way they've done to win elections.
So the point I'm making is this. The governing party against an independent party. Who is the independent candidate? The independent candidate, until yesterday, when I say yesterday, until his decision to go independent, was part of the governing party. He may have had issues, but was a member of the governing party. And that is why you could see the election at a point in time being treated like an internal party election. Because the other people who went into the contest were pretenders. The man who said he placed third his achievement.
And it got 0.4%.
0.4. Oh, he has about 200 votes, and he says he placed.
That's the most important part. He was number 3.
It's just like going into an election, and then you are last, and you say, I placed third. And then there are 3 people who contested.
Yeah, you placed first from bottom.
You're not part of the race.
No, the glass is either half empty or half full.
So the NPP, right from the get-go, knew the job on their hands was Kwabena Boateng, and that made it look more like an internal elections, but you wanted another person to win.
Yeah.
So it's just like going into a primary and saying, the system supports this candidate. But unlike a primary where you have just about 1,000 people voting, this time around, you have 106,000 people eligible to vote. So what do? What is it that they would look at in order to vote? They will look at the roads. The man says, I'm constructing the roads. They say, okay, look, we've constructed more than he has. He says, I did this for you. He said, no, he didn't do it for you. It was government that did it for you. And then the president says, nobody will construct any road without the president, being aware. That's something the president knows is not the situation. Because, they will present a budget. Some of it the president may not even remember.
But, one person I want to be, if I have to change my constituency, I have to go to Ejisu. Because clearly, between now and December, when Ejisu is securing 43% of the votes, the MPP will have to do quite a bit in that constituency.
And everyone,
of course, back that thing up. Yes.
Let me just put the figures out so that people will get
the real figures.
27,772 for Kwabena Boateng of the NPP, 21,534 for Kwabena Boateng, independent candidate.
6,238 is the difference.
The rest are pretenders.
Yeah. And there's something, though, that I also want to emphasize on this one, because it goes to the turnout, right? And if you look at it, it's what, 49.1%.
About 50.
Yeah. Just around that. But that is low. Historically, of course. I mean, we've had that situation with by-elections. But also with elections that tend to change governments.
Turnout is very low.
Turnout is low too. Turnout is low too. And if you're reading into it, this is the 8th year for the MPP. In 8 years, the turnouts tend to be low, especially in years when we're going to see
and you tend to suffer a reduction in the percentage of your vote, 2 to 4%, sometimes up to 6%.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to
So you're sitting there now beginning to unpack the numbers, and you look at the turnout. If you're MPP, you should be worried.
Well, if you're MPP, you should be worried. But I think that the greatest thing that happened to the NPP was in September 2023, when Alan Tremanting indicated he was going to contest as an independent candidate. That's the greatest thing to have happened to the NPP. Immediately, you saw the NPP coming together and, singing the NPP anthem and everything, trying to send a signal, and then began a process of galvanizing their base.
But is the base galvanized? That's it. That's what you're seeing there.
So the base is not yet. But you see, today, the NPP knows. They know. As for Dromi and what he has done in Ejisu, it is 2 things. In 2024, December 7, he may want to contest.
No, he confirmed.
Yes, hopes and
Hopes confirms that, yes. They already confirmed,
It is 2 things. It is 2 things. As in elections, there's no draw. Even if there's a draw, we'll find a winner. It is 2 things. Either he could maintain this performance or maybe betters this performance, or he performs woefully. Anything can happen from now to then. It depends on how he conducts himself, and it depends on how the people feel. Because now he's been able to sing a song of, they have been unfair to me. They've been unfair to me. They've been unfair to me. Can he continue singing that song? And will the people buy that kind of song? If they do, then it works for him.
No, I think that he, on the back of this by-elections, I think he's that excuse as in I've been cheated out of something will lose its potency. I think the by-elections takes it away, because if it had any potency, this is where you see it.
No, it's actually going to elevate to a different level. So that's why they started talking about money. They're just saying that, listen, all the problems I've tried to solve for you in this constituency, did you see the people come down to you? They didn't. When they needed your vote, they had flogged this place with a lot of money and to do the things. But even beyond that, they did everything they could to try and skew this election in their favor. And again, the single incident of evidence to back that will be what? Will be the Kingsley case. They say, let me show you how that works out. The people who were brought in to come and supervise the election, this is how they treated them. And you might have heard that. And we did a press conference saying the MPP is conniving with other people to try and rig the election. This is the evidence of it. So we didn't lie to you and waited to lose the election before coming to it.
I don't disagree that will be his message.
Yes,
but my point is that as an effective message
the
and an ability to convince the voters, I think he's lost his potency.
Whether or not the MPP still has a lot of... See, there's fatigue in the things you can do. Just have to spread goodies across the country to win an election. I hope you get my point.
Yeah.
There are 275 places that you will want to target. Some of them you need it urgently. And in the Ashanti region, you took for granted, and we all know that for sure. Places like Ejisu, Kwabena, and the stretch, because they'll deliver for you. They have not sent any signal. Those are places you count on 60, 70, 80% of your votes always being secured. When that starts to falter, it's as if your Ashanti regional budget will have to be spread a little bit more to other places. Can you do these things? That is when it becomes a local politics. And again, if independent people feel that this is the place to concentrate because, I mean, there's a hole we can expand. Why not? Whilst you are concentrating nationwide, they may also be spending most of their time in this constituency. And look at the kind of resources that will be going up against you at the time. And what you can do within the small time that you have available to you. President Akufo-Addo is not having 3 more or 4 more years to rule. This is a couple of months to an election. A lot can happen within that space. And I'm not in a hurry to dismiss his ability to governance and come back. Indeed, today, Ejisu as an individual is a more formidable force than the candidate of the MPP. It's without doubt.
Of course. I mean,
yes.
and that's a single individual who's matched them. He
So-
had the full force of the state behind
all
him.
that you need is to cause more disaffection for the party. If you're able to do that, people will not necessarily vote in 100% against the presidential candidate of the party. But they'll be tempted to do 2 things. Stay away from the elections or try and vote in protest. These are the kind of sentiments that when you saw on the ground, they will happen. But you listen to the president keenly. The executive president was there dispelling rumor. Can you believe that? The man was himself, well, not party chairman. In fact, the chairman was even more conciliatory in his speech. The president was full on telling you that no, he doesn't put up any road without my permission. I am the one who's in charge. Is he with Chinye or he's with Fafanto? Well, tell him the things he's saying. How did he become member of parliament? When we gave him the opportunity, did we rig the elections for him? Unfortunately, there's an incident that would make it very easy for him to continue his speed. But a lot more than that, if Ejisu has support or he gets support with a little bit of resource to be able to do more, he would improve his chances heavily.
Where's he going to get a resource from is the key question. I mean, we've now had a confirmation from Hobson Adoye that indeed, I mean, anybody who reaches out to Alan will get his support. So clearly, and he again confirmed the man is going to go again. And if you put the 2 together, it means he's going to go again, and he's going to go again with the support of Alan and his coalition, right? Now, if he's going to do that, does he get support financially and resource-wise from Alan's team today? Hobson Adoye being there alone is a resource, because it almost appears as if Alan Kyerematen loaned hopes into him to go and help him out.
And again, show me any other person you know belonging to that team of Ejisu on the ground beyond Hobson Adoye.
Yeah.
You get my point. There's not been any other supposed big weight or known face within the MPP who has shown a lot of support behind the man, openly like the man. I mean, imagine you get 15 more of the other people deploying, because let's not get it wrong. If it goes into a second round, the dynamics of the election will change. So in the first round, why? It is not compulsory that Chairman and his team would have to contest the 275 seats across the country. It will even be unreasonable. How about if they say they're concentrating on 50 or 80 of these ones, and this place includes one of those ones?
And you're right. And here's the thing, though. I don't know how much we can read into this, but of course it's politics. The first place we've seen Alan show up in a contest is Ashanti region, where he's now pairing with a formidable candidate who is aggrieved and has left the MPP. Now, he can then decide that in terms of candidates, I'm just going to focus on Ashanti region.
That's true.
I'm going to focus on Ashanti regional candidates. I'm going to look for people in the MPP who are known somewhat in the Ashanti region who can stand as independent candidates, who in their constituencies themselves may in the past have had some dealings with the MPP, and people know them for that. Convince them to stand as independent candidates. It depends on what your objectives are. Your objective, really, and that could be a very effective strategy. Because anytime the MPP fails to get that 75 magic mark and beyond in Ashanti region, they lose the national elections, right? So if he focuses exclusively on Ashanti region in terms of the parliamentary candidates, Odiomi is already backed because Hobson Adoye had told us that he's going to run in December. He's backed. Now, he goes around looking for these constituencies where you can find grievance, right? And find individuals who you can pair, who you can support, on either on your ticket or affiliated to the movement.
Winnable candidates.
Well, not winnable candidates per se. Candidates that can make a significant dent in the NPP candidates' chances. By extension, in Bawumia's chances.
That's true.
In that constituency. That can be devastating.
It can be
if it's only focusing on Ashanti region.
It can be, Evans, because the other point about fielding parliamentary candidates is not to necessarily win constituencies, but it's also to make an impact. And so the belief is that consistently, and that's why in times past, for instance, when you had Nanado, polling more than 200,000 votes.
And the Electoral Commission is about to address the media. If live feed is there, we should go because I understand that is going to happen in the next few minutes, and we can't miss this. This is the official declaration, so we can have that and get the reactions also quickly on this. You want to stay with it. This is still your election headquarters, and we've been bringing you the special results show. It's called the results show, and we can't leave without we hear the formal declaration. Although we know now that what you see on your screens won't change. We need to hear from the Electoral Commission, and they're just about addressing the media there on the ground at the collation center. We will also be getting reactions from the winner. We've already heard from the chief rep of Idiomi. They're giving us his concession speech, raising a few additional questions and calling for the arrest of Kingsley Nyako, the Kwadaso MPC, dropping an envelope for EC officers. So we've dealt with that. We've heard what they want to do. There you have it. That on your screen is the MPP's MP-elect, Kwabena Boateng, who's just walked in there in all white. We're going to be hearing from the Electoral Commission anytime soon here. And I want to take you there now live as the pictures have come in for us and wait to hear the Electoral Commission declare the results. And then we'll hear from Kwabena Boateng, who just won the by-elections in Ejisu by 55.8%. And he's just walked in. The EC would declare him the winner. We'll hear his reactions, and then we'll wrap up from here. And my colleague, Anaya Ojima, is standing by with the rest of our colleagues there to give us just that, give us an indication. And it's going to be interesting to hear what he says himself as he delivers his victory speech, so to speak. Will he address the challenges that we've seen today? That video will haunt him. Tomorrow, unfortunately, the major talking point will not be about the fact that the MPP won. It's going to be about what is the police doing? Why is Kingsley Nyako so walking a free man and have not been invited by the police? Those key questions will dominate the conversation. Will the OSP get involved, etc.? I bet you that is going to be a big deal. I expect the NDC to address a news conference. I expect to hear from Kodeo. The Electoral Commission may have to come back. There's a whole storm about to blow tomorrow. Yeah, their saving grace is the fact that tomorrow is Workers' Day.
Holiday. It is.
Tomorrow is holiday.
I was making a point.
Forgive me, yes. I just want to bring in a bit of the sound from there, just to get a feel of where we are with this.
Okay. So seated is MPP's parliamentary candidate and the winner of the by-election here at Ejisu constituency, Mr. Kwabena Boateng, and seated by him is Mr. Sintim, who happens to be Mr. Stephen Intim, who happens to be the NPP national chairman. On the left of Mr. Intim is Francis Adomakon, that is the regional organizer of the New Patriotic Party. On his right is, on the right of the winner of this election is the Ejisu constituency chair of the NPP. The Electoral Commission is still going through the figures, preparing the pink sheet for the representatives of the various candidates to also sign and accept the results that have been given by the Electoral Commission. So far, so good. The place or the collation center is very, very calm. The NPP executives and their candidates are all full of smiles. They are smiling in here. I can see some MPP supporters also coming in their party shirts, and it's all smiles for the supporters of the NPP. Already some other supporters of the New Patriotic Party are trooping in here. That is the Coalition Center. They are ready to join the Victory Party that will be held very soon in the Ejisu constituency. My colleague Nana Boakye Dankwa is also here with me. Ohime Interior is also within the Coalition Center. Nana, what can you report?
So we can look at the results that we have so far. From the CPP candidate, who is number one. From the total votes, she had 89, representing 0.18%. And also number two on the ballot is Kwabena Boateng, the NPP's candidate, who had 27,782, representing 55.79%. And then number three is Beatrice Boakye, who is for the LPG, who had 149 votes, representing 0.30%. And then the independent candidate, who is a former member of parliament for the Ejisu constituency, Kwabena Boateng, who also put 21,536, representing 43.24%. And also another independent candidate, Frederick Ajiman Joseph, who also had 222 votes, representing 0.45%. The last candidate, Atakra Joseph, who was also an independent candidate, had 23 votes, representing 0.05%. The total valid votes are 49,801. Rejected vote 417. Total votes cast 52,218. And also the turnout is 47.02%. And so this is the provisional result we have on our screens here at the Coalition Center in the Ejisu constituency, as the EC is set to declare from the provisional result lawyer Kwabena Boateng as the Member of Parliament for the Ejisu constituency elect. We have lawyer Kwabena Boateng seated already with the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Stephen Intim, alongside other regional executives, and then the constituency chairman himself. Other party faithfuls are also coming into the Coalition Center. We have a number of party faithfuls outside there who are also waiting for the EC to officially declare Kwabena Boateng as the Member of Parliament elect, for them to also continue with their jubilation. Earlier on the streets of Ejisu was massive jubilation when some supporters heard of the provisional results, which predicted an early lead for Kwabena Boateng. We visited the Ejisu party office, where we had a number of party supporters also jubilating upon hearing the provisional results which had already pitched Mr. Kwabena Boateng as the Member of Parliament for the Ejisu constituency elected. So this is the provisional results we have from the Coalition Centre, and also the scenes out there in the Ejisu constituency. Clearly you can see that everybody is set, waiting for the EC to declare the winner of the election. And everybody is set. The national chairman is seated, and then the MPP candidate himself, lawyer Kwabena Boateng, is also seated. We are waiting for the returning officer or the EC rep here to declare the winner of the by-election today. I have already made mention of the scene out there on the streets of the Ejisu constituency. Some people started jubilating earlier. We have a number of them outside here. Some also joined the NPP's candidate to come into the Coalition Centre to wait for the EC to declare their candidate as the winner of the by-election. We spoke to Hope Sinadoye, who says that, well, he came in to support Kwabena Boateng, although he belongs to Movement for Change. He came in to represent Kwabena Boateng here inside the Coalition Centre. He made several allegations, but then the MPP have earlier denied all these allegations of influencing the vote with money and all those things. But now we are waiting for the EC to officially make mention of who will be succeeding the former Member of Parliament for the constituency, John Kuma. The MPP believes that their candidate, Kwabena Boateng, is best to replace John Kuma. And from the results so far, it looks as if their candidate is indeed ahead of his main opponent and would be declared winner in no time. This is the scene here inside the Coalition Centre as we await the EC to make the official declaration.
So the Electoral Commission is still collating. Well, the collation is done. It's just a case of formalizing that by announcing that the winner is already there. An essential thing is to hear what he has to say once he's been formally declared in this also. Now, the key thing also, once we've heard from him, is also to read between the lines to see what is it that he's been saying about. Is he going to reach out, for example, to a DOME to say, come?
It's not too late.
It's not too late to come back into the fold. You know, but seriously, all jokes aside, it's in the interest of the party to have him back on their side.
Yes, not just for the unity of it, but for the entire Asante movement to be under the MPP properly.
Yeah.
Because now there's an incursion that if you leave him to the Chairman group, he's going to do a lot more damage. Because if for nothing at all, think of a man who is competent enough to know whichever road construction is required in the region. He coming out to tell you what happened in whichever road construction and the things that they need to do to make this work out properly. In the MPP infrastructure team, you need such a person on board, because he has the skills to be able to deliver even advice to you on the ground.
Yeah.
So even if it's just mere human resource, you may need him one way or the other. If you're unable to contain him and he becomes a force against you, and he goes out, I mean, of course, you can deploy the president, but how many times will Akufo be appearing in Ejisu, go and say that, no, I disagree with what DOME is saying on the ground there. So to avoid all that headache, and to make sure that you can concentrate on other areas that you really need to put your energy, you certainly will have to
because on this matter,
peace with him is less costlier than allowing him to go out there and decide to oppose you and decide to deploy all his skills and abilities against you And there is something with anger when the person is coming against you heavily. He has very little to lose at the end of the day. He has been MP for 3 different occasions. He doesn't. Becoming MP should not be his biggest ambition on earth because he has been there before. So it will not be. He will just have to show you people that he has what it takes to actually cause you some damage in the area. And that's not the kind of person you want in an election.
And the thing also about Aduomi going forward is, as if you attempt to bring him back into the fold, you have the constitutional hurdle you need to cross, which is that once you go independent, you forfeit your membership of the party. Although we know that is something that the party throws around. The party throws around. But it's a question of whether he would want to come and whether anybody can really convince him to do so, right? He's already played his hand in here. He's not only gone independent, he's shown that he's ready to do business with Alan.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you know,
so on 2 fronts, he's now going to be torn within the MPP and the NDC. But many have, what I have said, that he's going to play the long game or going to play the short game. If he's going to play the long game, chances are he rides his wave. The prediction and the history says MPP is more likely to struggle in this election than NDC is. Because they are in the 8th year, nobody has broken the 8 before, the economy is not great. All those things have come together. So, yeah, I mean, I don't need the MPP, right? I'm going to ride this out. NDC may win. I'll possibly, yes, go stay in opposition with Alan and co. But what does that hold for him in terms of his political future? He's obviously still interested in doing politics. I don't really see any avenue from which he can really say that he's so relevant in this political scheme of things as far as this is concerned. He is still going to struggle on December 7. He's definitely going to cause trouble in December 7. Because you have MDC in the race, right? It could play out anyway, 1 or 2 ways. NDC gets in the race. NDC will still hover around their 14,000 in the last elections. Of course, there will be limited voter registration, so that number may go up or down. We'll never know. Who knows? But he's going to eat into the MPP figures, right? He's going to eat into the MPP figures. It will not inure to the NDC's favor. NDC is not anywhere near getting close, but he will take. But
to winning Ejisu.
It won't. Yeah. It won't. MPP still likely to win Ejisu.
Yeah.
But together with the others who Alan may recruit in Ashanti region, can collectively cause the MPP a bit of headache in the national picture. I don't know Alan's plan, but I think there's more to what we've seen tonight in the Ashanti region with Ejomi's Ejisu alliance than meets the eye. I think that if you're a political watcher and you're the MPP and you just take this as a one-off, you are deceiving yourself. You need to be looking into this a bit more. Is there a strategy unfolding in front of our eyes right now with Alan's attempt to break the front of the MPP in terms of votes in Ashanti region, with a strategy that would in essence, bring into the fold other disgruntled members of the party to stand as independent? Is this a commencement? Is the first sign of that strategy?
Well, the NPP knows that, I beg your pardon, that Alan would definitely be in the Ashanti region trying to head them. In fact, Alan has made it very clear. The last time he walked into the Super Morning show to our studios, he made it clear that, and he said that, he has millions of, MPP supporters who support him. So the MPP should not kid themselves believing that the 6 million votes that they had are all persons that are still going to vote for the NPP. That would only tell you that a man sees himself as going to have a huge number of his voters from, the NPP, group, because that is where he believes he's known, and that's where he believes he can get a lot of the votes from. So yes, Aduomi is one that you've seen, Hobson has come out to say, and I mean, I don't buy that whole thing about, he called me that I should come and help him. And I came in and he said, can you be my agent? Then I became his agent. That's not true, okay? And so you can see this is like a very planned thing. Now, if you are the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, you know that you will not be able, or you don't have to contest all seats. It will be politically suicidal to contest all seats. So you'd have to look out for the seats that you can possibly win or or perform well, and then throw your money behind it. Because as much as we hate it, I mean, you need to go ahead and campaign, and in campaigning, you need a lot of resources. And if you have them, you are not going to be able to campaign in all 276 constituencies.
Yeah.
So you engage in the 270, maybe you engage in, say, 50, say 40, say 60, 70. But whatever it is, the NPP, knowing that Alan Tremanting, is going to cause some trouble in the Ashanti region by way of eating into their votes, even before then, they had indicated their willingness to pick a running mate from the Ashanti region. Mm-hmm. And I'm told that when the running mate is announced somewhere next month, maybe, he's going to be in the Ashanti region more. Whoever that minister is, he's going to resign from his ministerial portfolio.
Yeah, that will make some impact, right?
Yes, and then go and stay in the Ashanti region. He will campaign in Ashanti, maybe get to Western, Northwestern, maybe pass.
And you say it's Napo?
Yes, I mean, unless something dramatic happens, as Matthew Poku Prempe, now that the power situation seems to be improving, when it is improved finally, don't be surprised.
You're very, very confident. He keeps repeating
the oil is coming.
The oil is coming.
The oil has come. In fact, the oil has come. In fact, I have seen letters.
But the oil is a recurrent expenditure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I've seen letters that are saying
we raise money after all. Yeah, raising money for
after the elections.
Yes.
Oh no, don't raise money.
We have the conversation again after the elections. Yes.
Are they buying it on credit?
We're paying for it.
You're paying for it?
Yes.
Cashed out?
We're paying.
Because the NDC has said that whoever gives us gas on credit, they should know if they come, they are not going to pay.
Well, no.
This what do they do?
Oh, no, this is LCU.
Yeah.
This is LCU. The LCU. So, I mean, in the past, we're having conversations about the cash waterfall mechanism. And the last time on State of Play, we were talking about ECG and why government should be able to pay. Yeah. And I think the whole idea that I have learned is that the government felt that, well, it will cost us a little bit, but let's squeeze ECG a little bit so they do the right things. And now that they're doing the right things, they're still changing meters anyway. I know how the new meters function. I don't know whether you have one yet, but
very fast.
Okay, good.
Your
the new meters
right now.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what's happening, but the two comparable elements that I complained about more recently. And I said, but the first they said was December. I had a lot of people, family members, so they were the ones consuming the power. Mm-hmm. But I've checked last month and this month.
It's still the same.
Yes, even with all the doomsday involved,
yeah.
I used to buy around 200, 250, but now I'm going into the 600, 700. I've reached 1,000 in a month before, which is shocking to me.
Yeah, so it's all part of revenue mobilization.
And I know that we have increased. Of course, over a year we have done more than 100% increment in the electricity prices. That's without doubt, and that's a small reduction. But this is at a supersonic speed that I am not able to cope.
So you're suggesting that they've changed the meter so that they can raise more money to buy gas?
No, I'm saying that electricity prices have gone up. We know that over a period of time. There was a time last year or so, virtually every quarter, we're doing like 25% or so. That's without doubt. But it is reflecting in my on my wall, and the evidence is that I have to buy more consistently. And that's why I got angry when there was no consistent power. Because it didn't make sense to me that when you had elevated your prices and everything, we're still not in the mood of getting the electricity that we want. But if this matter is not resolved early enough, the key point that will go into the election would include a power crisis, which nobody wants. Because everybody in this republic knows that at the zenith of all crises is the power crisis. Now, and it boots you out of power easily. It gets people needlessly angry. If you want to learn an experience from that, ask the NDC about it. Sometimes, even if you resolve the power, people can even still punish you for letting them suffer under a power crisis of a sort. And our current power crisis has met a very terrible weather condition. I was showing Weston that 29 also, sometimes we go into 30 degrees
At this time of
the day.
The heat.
Yes.
29 was in the past in the afternoon.
Yes.
I mean, at this
and
time,
even with the sun blazing, but in the evening, 29.
It's hot.
Yeah. So it compounds the problem, and people will not forgive you for that. I might not have money in my pocket, but if I have some peaceful sleep at home, I'll be fine. Yeah. But if I cannot sleep and I'm struggling through the process, it really makes it worse for me.
Before we get back to politics, you know, sometimes I tell Raymond that when I get home, I always want the air condition to be very low, the temperature very low, so that in case the light goes off, you can enjoy it.
You keep that for a couple of hours.
Catch some sleep. Brother.
Yeah, like.
The last time they turned off the
30 minutes, 1 hour.
I mean, not even 30 minutes. By 15 minutes.
Yes.
I said, my goodness, what is this?
What's happening? No, but that's a condition that, so if they're able to fix their power crisis, and again, Napo's biggest hurdle was the power crisis. If they're able to clear that from him, it appears within the party, and his biggest support, the Nanabis of this world, are all heavily Napo's people. So if they're able to secure that, it is also one reason that some were looking at how those influences will be brought to bear in this Ejisu situation. Because what is taking you into the election is because you have an Asante from Asante region. The hope is that you would secure Asante region and increase the votes. If there are immediate signs of inability, of lack of ability to deliver that, it becomes a bigger problem. Assuming Napo had already been appointed today and this Ediomi incident was happening, one would have expected he would have resolved the matter, because collectively it goes to our interest as a people and as Asante people. If you're unable to deliver on that, it is a blot on what is supposed to be coming from the Asante region. And I'm not saying that Mahmoud Bawumia is just concerned about choosing Ashanti for Ashanti's sake. It's about votes. It could have been any other place. It has nothing to do with MPP's historical support also from the Ashanti region. It's just because if a party can guarantee you the huge number of votes it gives you in the Ashanti region, it makes sense that they get your support consistently and you show them the evidence of it. But if you're unable to secure the votes, and he had been appointed prior to this election, and it went the way it went, you would have been wondering. You know, we're doing the calculation, right? We're asking the people when the MPP was doing their primaries, well, how were you delivering for what they call it, Bawumia in the election? So Bawumia's percentage in your area determined whether you were serious or not.
Yeah.
And the front runners, we kept on checking. Napo gave more than 80% to Bawumia and the conversation. And many people were impressed with that. If that is not sustained, there'll be questions raised about whether or not he is the best person, or going into the future, he should be maintained as running mate or be made running mate in the first place. Why not Ejisu, for example? In any case, some people have brought in the Eastern region part. And it has been now been established that Brandon Champon has parentage, one of whom is supposed to be coming from the Ashanti region. And that point they are making strongly. So if it's Ashanti votes, he can also equally claim having Ashanti heritage.
One of his parents is from the Ashanti.
Yes. Now they are making direct reference that he is one of the Ashanti towns.
His father or mother?
Oh, no, they are talking about the father rather. Yes.
No, Raymond, you and I...
No, see, we cannot dismiss it.
No, wait.
We cannot dismiss it. But why?
No, I would have...
The other candidates that are key in the thing, have we perused and checked whether or not their fathers and mothers are truly from Ashanti?
I would have thought that he would have said that his mother from Abetifi,
yes,
being Kwewu, they are part of the Ashanti.
They are already Ashanti.
That one is not...
No, that's not the...
But if you say that his father is from Ashanti, you haven't said anything. Because at the end of it, it is his mother that will look at it.
No, that's not the full story. That's not the full story. So I'm just saying that Ashanti is because that's where you are going to get your votes. Yeah. And you want people to galvanize votes for you. It's not just about naming somebody from there. That is why Isaac Owusu-Mensah, Director of Research at the Office of the President, said there is no written rule that when you choose an Asante, you are going to win the election. In fact, I had an interview with him. He said, and he's a respected academic. He's, in terms of research, we all know the work he has done in times past.
Yeah.
He said that there's no written rule like that. You can choose anybody from within the Akan enclave and still get the kind of results that you want. But there is the belief by some people that Asante is threatened with Chemantin moving and roving and delivering. And if we have Adiomi,
okay, we can now go and listen to the letter.
Finally,
Fredua Ajiman Joseph obtained 222 votes. Kwabena Owusu Adiomi obtained 21,536 votes. Beatrice Boachi obtained 149 votes. Osei Esther obtained 89 votes. Kwabena Boateng obtained 27,782 votes. So in view of these results, the one with the highest being declared as the Member of Parliament elect, I have the greatest opportunity to declare Kwabena Boateng as Member of Parliament elect for Ejisu constituency from the 2024 parliamentary by-election. So I therefore invite Kwabena Boateng
So the Electoral Commissioner has called out Mr. Kwabena Boateng to come for the declaration to be done for him. So as you can see, the EC officers are ready.
I therefore declare Kwabena Boateng as a Member of Parliament elected for Ejisu constituency. Thank you all, and may God bless you.
The declaration has been done. Kwabena Boateng has been declared the winner for the Ejisu by-election.
Well, Jadi Kai Beda Chidiampon Yankupon Ase. Ono de mankwa eni ahoden itumi edi eye bibia wo wiase na de tosumienu ada me party impenifo a esase fi yina ye papa His Excellency Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo Accra Ejibre Eba Kumase ba Joso eni ye ebe ye radia ye se yimfan pa ye dwuma kese a ejidi se ede sankunimdi ya eni ye ka ho asemi eba ye damampeni ase sa akunya no a de ma ye no na afi mother the next president of Ghana come 2025 His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Adana Sepa won also out of the busy schedule Ochebre Eba Joso eni ebe ye rally also Eboa ye pa Adana se na afi ye national chairman that's only yetia na jubri Shasi ye adwuma nyina ye ne no a akra onna ne no a na ekoba esipe eko campaign eni ade dana se papa na afemi ankasa me maame na chese wajimatum prekope sempa chief of staff Shasi ye tu na moyi de bia obajoso Juma yi nyina ye ne no ye ne mami na eko campaign ewo Ejisu dwom eni ade chese to a wo yi di a kire Ejisu bro ya dwe ni enti ase so particularly me that year eni odo a wo yi di kire o mi campaign mo no da me mami no ase se mama behu se de Boateng yene man ye fe anasepa chief of staff fe national executives nyina se general secretary yene no ana ekoba kana isa no mo ka ho nyina beda omase afi CEO so mu MMD sa omo so yene mo ana ekoba ne yetu abei mo so e play very important roles. Afi national, regional executives are the Ankasamibra, Chairman Buntumi, by Yadenwa campaign, Ayekonina, Metsenekemu, Fat, Juma Odi Remu, Sheni Papa.
Now you have
Chairman Buntumi, Madam said.
How are you going to unite party members so far as these internal issues are concerned?
Well, that is the work for us to do. Some of these things are typical of party democracies. After elections, whether it is internal or it is with, at the national level against other political parties, these things do happen, especially with internal elections. They do happen. The tax is for us to go down and then talk to our people. They are our people. They are our people. I do not think that the party is minded, or that me as the MP-elect is minded to neglect anybody. Not at all. Political parties are built with multitudes. You need the people. So my task is to go down there and then be with my people, listen to them. Whatever constitutes the disagreement, my job is to make sure that we judge and then find the common grounds that will benefit.
Just people were saying that for them they vote for development. Today, their campaign was that the former MP was bringing development. Can you sustain what you are inheriting?
Absolutely. I think it is the government that provides the resources for the development. The development comes from the government. And it's that same government presenting me as I came on the ticket of the government. So it is on that platform, that I'm also standing. And so whatever development the state would share, my job is to make sure that I lobby and get a fair share for the people of Ejisu. And I think government is minded to do that, especially this year, which is election year. A lot of projects are going on, and Ejisu will have its fair share. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that was the winner of the election. That's the MP elect for the Ejisu constituency, lawyer Kwabena Boateng. So this is what is happening here. It looks like the party is about to begin. Already the chants have started in here, and this jubilation that is being realized here will continue through the principal streets of Ejisu. So we will try and get an exclusive interview with Mr. Kwabena Boateng. As you can see, he's now seated with other with the executives of the New Patriotic Party, the national executives, and also the regional executives, as well as the constituency executives. They will have some photo sessions, and after the photo sessions, we will try to get an interview with Mr. Kwabena Boateng. He has been talking about how he intends to unite the party and other things concerning development within the constituency. So this is...
Okay, that there is that speech we're waiting for. Conciliatory indeed. He wanted to reach out to others who have been disgruntled and left, disillusioned. But of course, the key question is, what will he do with the Duomi? And that's one thing that we'll learn to find out tomorrow. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And that's our coverage of the MPP Ejisu by-elections. You should watch out for all the stories from Ejisu across our many social media platforms. And tomorrow, there is a lot to unpack from Ejisu indeed. Remember that election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Also brought to you by the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness, and Beauty. My name is Evan Spencer, Wingsting Amwa, and Raymond Aqua has been with me, and my colleagues on the ground there, Nanaya Aljima, Oheming Teria, Nanabwache Yadom, doing a great job bringing us every single moment of this day, including that breaking news story brought to you of our cameras capturing Kingsley Nyako dropping that envelope that is now a subject of a police investigations. There's more on this unfolding tomorrow as we begin to unpack and make sense
today,
of what we just said. Today, indeed. Yes. Enjoy the rest of your morning.